Hello, welcome one and all to the Wednesday Night Fight Club. We are going to be talking tonight about the shooting that happened yesterday in Texas. We had a young Hispanic man go into he shot his grandmother in the face, didn't kill her, and then he ran and wrecked his truck by a school, got inside the school, and proceeded to raise mayhem, murder and mayhem. And some stuff is not adding up to me. You guys are free to jump into the chat on the, come into the to talk if you want. I put the link in the chat. And I don't know how many of you guys have had dealings with the public school system in the United States, and especially in Texas, but they have armed police in the schools. The schools are all locked up. The only way you can get in is if you're buzzed in by the secretary. And there's no way to get to the children unless you go through the office. So I don't know how he got in. And why was he killed by the Border Patrol? So we have a lot of stuff to talk about with this. So who do we have here tonight with us? We've got Chris Mitchell, the Emperor of Canada, Riggs Jr., D-Man 50, my very first sub. We got McDowell Outlaw, Cubbing Speed, Mouth the Gape Ape, the best beard in MGTOW, by the way. We got Indy MGTOW and Matt Downer. So, welcome to the stream, gentlemen. So, do you guys, a few of you have made comments of you found it sort of fishy too. The kid had no history of trouble with the law and no history of mental illness. The only thing people said about him was he was a loner. So my guess is he threatened the people at the office and got in that way, or he shot up one of the doors and was able to overcome the lock with, by shooting the lock out. Those are the only two things I can think of. But the classrooms also go on lockdown. When a school shooting emergency happens, and they automatically lock the doors on the classrooms too. They have taken the windows out of the doors so you can't look into the classrooms anymore to see if there's people in there hiding. So how do you get in? Don't know. But Brother Mitchell, welcome to the show.
Hello, sir. Hello, everyone. Fuck, what a tragic fucking week.
Very tragic.
Sad and sick and disgusting. And you're right. I haven't been to a school in the U.S. where if you walked up to the door, they wouldn't automatically be locked. And
right.
An alert would happen.
Right here, Outlaw.
Oh, the chicken biscuit.
Yeah, and it's not just the United States where they're locked up like this. I've heard they do that in Britain as well.
Yeah.
I don't know about Canada, but they probably do.
On primary schools, probably. Maybe not so much on high schools. From grade 6 to 12, they're generally in a different school and they're coming and going all the time. But hey, it could be possible. It's been a long time since I've been inside a school.
Yeah. Well, my primary school, there was no way to lock it down. The windows, every classroom was just full of windows,
Yeah.
and we even had a slide coming out of the second floor in case of fires.
Yeah. Remember when that was what we had to worry about?
Yeah,
Fire drills. Now we have to worry about fucking shootings.
and fire drills and tornado drills we had to worry about. And you know what? When I was in high school, we all had guns in our trucks.
Unfortunately, I can't say we had that here. However, we didn't need it.
For one of my shop projects, I redid a old 12 gauge.
Nice.
In school. It was rusty. I got the rust off of it. I reblued it. I rebuilt the trigger mechanism and redid the wood in the wood shop. And when I was done, I had a nice side-by-side 12 gauge.
Yeah, and that gave you school credits.
They gave me school credits for that. Now the kids need to go with bulletproof vests, apparently.
Yeah.
But what's going on? Why would somebody, one, how did he get in? Two, why'd the Border Patrol kill him?
What was the Border Patrol? Like, I can understand, like, somebody just being in the right place at the right time. So, I mean, the Border Control guy being there, I guess, is just a coincidence.
They had a Border Patrol SWAT team that went in there.
Wait, there was a whole SWAT team?
Yes.
I thought it was one lone officer that just happened to be, like, close by.
No, the school resource officer got shot, and he was out of the fight at that point. What a school resource officer is a cop that's off duty that goes and hangs out at the school and gets paid overtime. It's part of the corruption of the United States. They don't provide any security, from what I can tell. The cop in the mass shooting that they had in Florida a year or so back was hiding. The Broward County Sheriff's officer that was off duty was hiding during that shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Other shootings, you don't ever hear of the school resource officer saving the day. Down where I live, close to me, in Joplin, Missouri, when my nephew was going to school, they had a kid show up with a semi-automatic rifle. The cops all ran off and were going to come back with overwhelming force. And the assistant principal went out there and talked the kid into giving him his gun. So props on that guy. He went unarmed and took the gun away from the would-be school shooter. So, but this stuff is happening more and more often. And except in one case, that being Columbine, guess what? These kids come from single mother homes.
Yeah, I mean, those boys from Columbine, I mean, I think they were more or less damaged by the people around them. You know, they were probably treated as outcasts by their peers, and that's most likely what got to them. I mean,
Yeah, that's what got to him in Columbine.
yeah, that's
You know, the trench coat mafia, they called themselves, trying to be badasses when they weren't.
well, I mean, I don't think were they part of that.
Yeah,
There was only two of them. I mean, they
yeah,
felt they were treated like outcasts, right?
yeah.
The kid
They were
every
bullied.
kids ever,
They were
ever
bullied by the athletes, and
yeah, the kids everyone picked on. And I mean, I don't fucking agree with any of that either. Having a disagreement or fucking scuffle with kids in school, I mean, that was just school.
yeah,
We all ran into that. We didn't fucking pull out a gun and blast the whole school away, even though we might have wanted to. Um, and well, we all grow up. We all get out of that I guess environment. Generally the bullying doesn't continue except for now. In today's society, yeah, there's no age limit on fucking online bullying, especially.
And earlier this year, I guess it was late last year, in Texas, in Dallas, um, they had a kid go in. He shot this other boy, and he killed one of the teachers, and they let him out.
Jesus. And
Can
what
you
was that
believe
all
that?
over? What was that over now?
That was over a drug deal gone bad. But
Christ.
it was during the George Floyd times. Anyways, welcome,
Hey,
Scotty.
sorry I'm late, boys.
Oh, no worries.
Shit to take care of there.
Or
So-
early.
Yeah, really. I know nothing of this at all. What you guys are talking about. So this is all new to me. It's all new to me, except that there was what I think you mentioned. There was like a school, not a guard, but
It was a school resource officer.
right,
cop.
right. And then you explained what that is, and he did nothing, like he hid or something.
Well,
like
the
that.
school resource officer in Broward County, down in Florida, hid.
Oh.
But the school resource officer here got shot,
Mm.
and there was 2 police got shot yesterday. Neither one of them died, thank God.
Good.
But they were actually engaging the kid instead of hanging out and waiting for like superior numbers to go in and do stuff.
Okay.
So they probably saved some lives yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excuse me.
It may have been a lot worse if they hadn't actively engaged the kid. But how did he get in?
Now, that's a big question. Like you said, they got to buzz you in. I mean, if he's carrying 2 rifles with him, it can't be that easy to hide.
Yeah. How do you smuggle those in?
Like, it's not like they didn't look at the camera and say, well, he's got 2 rifles with him, or he's wearing a huge fucking coat for, state in Texas.
Yeah, I have no idea what he was wearing yesterday.
Now, I don't know if their glass is bulletproof. I mean, if you're going to lock people out because you might be worried about a school shooting, you would think it would be, like,
yeah, or at least, it would be that wire reinforced glass like they always had.
yeah,
in the
something you
schools.
can't just easily pop out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With even if you can put a round through it. But then again, I don't think their classroom windows are anything like that either.
Well, I don't know how he got in. That's one of the things that they're not reporting.
Well, that's just it. Like I said, if you manage to walk through a door that won't open unless somebody allows you in, How did they get him? Didn't they say he had 2 rifles with him?
I believe he had a rifle and a pistol,
Okay.
but they were talking about an extended magazine. But that's just all the anti-gun folks. Extended magazine.
Yeah.
So there's, and they know he went in through one of these entrances. He didn't like climb a wall or break
They're
in.
not reporting how he got in.
Oh,
that part stinks, because at Sandy Hook, as soon as it happened, you had a play-by-play of what went down.
right.
He went in through the office, shot the office people, went and found the first classroom he could find, and the Sandy Hook guy started killing literally 5 and 6 year olds. What relationship did this kid have to this school? And why did he shoot his grandmother first? Did she figure out what he was going to do?
Wait, what?
Yeah, he shot his grandmother in the face.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
And then drove his truck until he crashed it near the school, and then he goes into the school and starts killing people.
Wow. How old was this kid again?
18.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so I did hear that he bought 2 of them like on his birthday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
wow.
And it's not racially motivated, because he's Hispanic and his victims were all Hispanic.
Yeah.
That don't mean nothing.
Yeah, that's such an overblown thing.
Yeah. So they can't play the race card.
Nope. Uh-oh.
No race card? What will they do?
Not tell us how he got in there. That's what they'll do.
Yeah, CJ, I agree. It looks very strange. There's so many false or misleading things people are talking about. This kid was texting some woman who they don't give the identity of, bragging about his guns. And then she freaked out about it, but I don't know if she did anything before he went on his rampage.
Well, that would be a red flag thing, right?
Yeah.
We all kind of agree that the red flag laws leaves a very open window for people to do all kinds of nefarious shit to innocent,
you can abuse the red flag laws, that's for sure.
Yeah, they've already abused it. So the red flag law is one thing, but I mean, are we going to hear tomorrow that they have been watching this kid now for like the last fucking 2 years?
I don't think so. Guy? Apparently, he's never had a run-in with the law before. And he had no mental health issues.
Clearly, he had mental health issues.
Well, clearly he did, but it wasn't reported.
There's the problem. But then again, who do you report it to in the U.S. now? You guys closed down all your mental institutions, right?
Well, the psychologists by law have to report that stuff if they feel there's a danger to the public. You don't get your doctor-patient privilege if you're going to go out and kill somebody and your shrink knows about
it.
Yeah.
Was he ever in any kind of therapy or anything like that?
Not that's been reported.
I think we still need to focus on what we do know right now, and that is the fact, like you're saying, how did he get in?
Yeah.
If you have access to all of his old social media and stuff, what was the fucking deal there? because they don't get guns and then just say, well, now I better go shoot up a fucking primary school.
He quit his job 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And let's face it, he grew up without his dad around, and he didn't know how to handle stress.
Yeah. So you mentioned his grandma. Is that who was taking care of him? Like raising him?
Seems to be that way. I haven't seen anything about parents.
Yeah, he was living with his grandma.
I see.
So again, shit parents. Trust me, I can relate, but I can tell you guys about that later.
Yeah, but oh man, that seems to be kind of the underlying the common equation is shit when there's no strong male figure. I mean, if you're living with your grandma, she's nice and all, I'm sure, but that's where do you take your cues from? That's not who you should be taking your cues from, a young man, that's for sure. And if that's who was raising him, then man.
Oh, it's unfortunate, man. And
if this kid was going for a death by cop, there's a lot better ways to go about it.
Yeah.
Like you were saying last night, go out and confront the police. Don't bring all these babies into it.
Yeah, and I understand if you're out to inflict like some serious maximum damage, yes, you pick soft targets, right? And nobody in their right frame of mind, like I stated the other night, likes the idea of dead children, right? In my eyes, this kid was 18. He was still probably a child himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when you're 18, you're a man.
I understand that. I understand that's how we conceive it, but would you say it's fair because he didn't have any, guide in his life and we should just hold him accountable no matter what? Like it all comes from somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We've got some interesting stuff being said in the chat. CJ says that he was raised by a feminist grandmother who has ties to the original feminist movement in Mexico in the late 1980s. The matriarchy could have driven him over the top. Not assuming anything, though.
No, but he's absolutely right.
And Mouth Agape Ape is the best beard in MGTOW. That's you, sir. He believes that there's pictures of him in women's clothing.
So he's got gender dysphoria along with it during a time where fucking people are pushing this mental illness as if it's a good thing.
Yeah, and they're saying that he was a member of the alphabet community.
But it'll be blamed on patriarchy and
yep,
the
toxic
straight
masculinity.
People. Yeah, that's all it'll be.
I can hear it already.
Yeah.
This is what guns do, people. No.
Can never take any accountability.
No.
Yeah.
Like a typical woman.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
There's my misogyny. It comes out every once in a while.
I don't know if you saw that coach yesterday or the day before.
What's that?
That one coach that went on and was like, when are we going to change things? Oh, they're trying to keep guns so they can keep their power, blah, blah, blah.
I think I saw just like a clip of that at the gym this morning. So it was on the news or something like that. And yeah, he was just like, how many times, when am I going to be able to stop saying this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
professional athletes live inside of a bubble.
They do. They really
I wouldn't. No, they shut up and play ball.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
That's what you're paid to do. Jesus.
But, they use all the same talking points, and you can't help but wonder if it's not. Well, to take it from what Steven Crowder said earlier today, they love mass shootings. The Democrats love mass shootings. They love it.
they love them when you know, when there's innocent victims, when the children are the ones that are killed.
Yeah, because
They hate it when there's mass shootings, and both sides are not innocent.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but yeah, they like to use this as a way of, fucking with your guys' Second Amendment, right? The right to bear arms and all that. And like I said, unfortunately, we don't have that. Now, does that make it any less polite? No, not really. I mean, we have good people and bad people no matter where you go. But to use that as your fucking excuse to essentially make everyone a potential victim, there's a reason why they pick these schools, guys. They're soft targets.
Yep.
Right? When we first started seeing shootings at these schools, it was because every school that they passed by where they saw signs that the
Gun-free zone.
gun-free zone, they were like,
Yeah.
perfect, because that's where they would inflict the maximum amount of damage and face the minimum amount of resistance.
Yep. I was just going to mention that. Like, do you think this kid would have come in here if that place was full of people with guns? Do you think he would have gone in there?
No,
Exactly.
They're cowards. And here's mouth agape bait.
Yes.
I heard you calling.
We've had
Best beard in MGTOW.
We've had shooters admit to that. Why they picked that school? It was because it was a gun-free zone.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't they?
I saw a great meme the other day about the Buffalo shooting,
Right.
and it was this kid was supposedly a white supremacist when they've proved that he was a leftist, but they're trying to spin that.
Mm-hmm.
And then
leftists can be white supremacists.
Right. Well, I've met a lot of very liberal people that are the most racist people I've ever met in my life.
Dude, they don't even think that they are capable of holding fucking valid ID.
The KKK was all Democrat.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're the most racist fucking group out there.
The thing, though, that was ironic about this is that this kid supposedly hated the government, hated officials, hated Jewish people, hated blacks, and he drove 4 hours from Pennsylvania to shoot up a random grocery store in Buffalo, New York, when he passed 15 abortion clinics. He passed how many city councils, mayor's offices, political people, all of this, and then he writes a 160-page manifesto that has no grammatical errors, is perfectly legible. And there's people that are saying that manifesto has some of the exact same wording, pictures, and everything from a previous shooter. So to me,
Was it the Christchurch shooter?
Stink test either.
The only other manifesto that I've really heard of is the Christchurch shooter from New Zealand.
Well, I downloaded that manifesto. I haven't gone through all of it, but the memes or cartoons that were displayed in it were very anti-Jewish. But I personally, and like I said, I haven't gotten into very many of them. I didn't see any anti-black in there. So, but like I said, I just downloaded it so that and stocked it away so it doesn't just disappear.
Right.
Like things have a tendency to do if they don't fit a narrative or anything, they just disappear.
Yeah.
It's a very strange thing. Like, I don't know, guys. Like I said, I can't put anything past any of these government officials right now or the organizations that work for them. You know, we all were told that the CIA didn't fucking, bring cocaine into the U.S. to do nefarious things, right? And then it turns out it was true. They did. And, it was a,
Oliver North pled the fifth. He never confirmed nor denied.
I was just gonna say that
oh,
Ollie North didn't deny anything. He just played stupid, and then they celebrated him.
yeah.
And now he writes really bad adventure novels.
The
Good for
Adventure of a
him.
Cocaine Cowboy.
Well, he's super religious, and he has very religious heroes fighting crime.
Mm.
He must not have been very religious when there were hundreds of thousands of inner city people dying of cocaine and crack epidemic, huh?
Yeah, plus all the
Or
Nicaraguans.
or going
Yeah.
to jail for fucking,
Yeah, how many people
bullshit.
bled out in a jungle somewhere, never to their family never to see him again?
Good question. I would ask the guy, but he pleaded the fifth. I don't think we'll get an answer. That's another one that I find strange. And like I said, I don't think we have that here in Canada either, but
Well, when you can't get funding from the government to send military weaponry to, you're to a national enemy. Yeah, let's send surface to air missiles to the mullahs in Iran. That sounds like a great idea. Well, how are we going to fund that? Well, we'll overthrow the government of Nicaragua and install our own people and have them grow cocaine for us. Perfect.
Because that's never backfired. Installing our own dictators has never, ever backfired.
Kind of like sending Stinger missiles to Afghanistan
Whoops.
to fight the Russians, and then
No.
they go and shoot our helicopters down with them.
Well, Osama bin Laden was trained by the CIA to be a sniper.
Yep. We trained his ass.
Kind of ironic.
Very. And it stinks just as much as the story we're getting from, the shootings that we're having here lately.
I watched a couple of videos on it today that were not they're gun friendly, pro 2A. And one of the guys says, "How is it that an 18-year-old kid goes into a situation like this with $5,000 worth of kit on?" Where do you get that? The kid that shot up that Buffalo store, did you see any of the video of him doing that?
No. I try not to watch that stuff.
I just saw bits and pieces that just as he got out of the car, as he was live streaming, he was talking, and then he pulled up in the store, and then there were people standing right there. But the way he reloaded, the way he functioned, the way he moved was like someone that had been doing that for a long time, like kicking doors in other countries and shooting people for a living. The way he held his rifle showed that he knew what he was doing. He did a C clamp on the front, in the back of the front sight. He held it with a C grip, which is a very stable grip, but it's not something that the average, unless they play a lot of Modern Warfare or some of the, learns this stuff off of video games. I don't know. I don't play them, so, but he just seemed like he was extremely well versed in how to do this, which I find that doesn't really pass the test either.
Well, airsoft, I don't know. Have you ever been out airsoft or paintballing?
No, I save my gun time for real pewdy pews.
Well, you can't really shoot real people with.
No.
But you
No, that's
can with
true.
airsoft, and you can with paintball. I'd recommend airsoft over paintball. It's you got more of a range on it, and it doesn't hurt as bad when you get hit.
Yeah, I remember when I was 16, I worked at this pizza joint, and one of the guys that worked there, he was like 6'9", real tall, skinny dude. Didn't have any fat on him. And this is when paintball guns were just coming out, and he went out with some friends, and he came in the next day, and I said, "Well, how was it?" And he pulled his shirt up and his shorts up, and it looked like you beat him with a ball peen hammer. He said it was the most painful experience I've ever had in my life. This dude lit him up and shot him like 8 times from about the top of the knee to his armpit, and he couldn't get out of the way. And he didn't have any fat on him like me. He didn't have any protection. It just binged him. I mean, they were deep, deep purple and green bruises. It was amazing. I was like, it doesn't really sound that fun.
Yeah, well, that shooter was sort of an asshole. Most people, when you get shot, you're supposed to raise your hand, and they're supposed to stop shooting you.
It was the beginning of that era. Maybe he didn't know the rules. Maybe they hadn't been established yet. Maybe he
Well,
thought he was
anyways,
a
my
jerk.
point is,
He
you
could
can
be.
learn a lot of tactics by playing those types of games.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he probably was
Who
proficient
knows?
in those games, but that just it just, if you just looked at it, if you didn't know how old this kid was and
Yeah,
just
Johnny Midnight.
watched him do that, it just looked like videos from overseas in the Middle East when they're going and kicking in doors on people and raiding. It looked just like that. His
Yeah, Johnny
reloads.
Midnight wanted to pop in, so we're gonna just put him in there. And here he comes. Welcome to the stream, Johnny.
All right. Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I had to switch out headphones, headphone mic combos because my old set was not working so well because I went mono. And these are just podcasting cans that I have on my head right now. But yeah, I thought that was really strange about Buffalo because, like Ape was saying, this kid was not missing any shots. He's 17, right? 17.
Yeah, I think he was
No,
18 also.
I think he's actually 17.
Oh, maybe he was.
Yeah, I mean, like close to 18 and stuff. He may have graduated early from high school. I'm not sure, but I mean, where do you get that kind of training to take that kind of semi-automatic weaponry and not miss any kind of shots? If you take a look at the Christchurch footage, this guy did the exact same thing. He had the exact same paint marker types of sloganeering marked all over
Yeah,
his gun, right?
yeah, that's
Right,
that's what I was wondering, because they had a still picture of it, and he had a number 14 on the top of the receiver on the left-hand side
right,
across from the ejection port, and then he had something written in a paint pen on the back of the front sight, and I couldn't read it from the picture, but it's like a lot of symbolism going on, and I
right,
have no idea.
right. So did Christchurch. The thing is that with Christchurch, you didn't see any kind of blood trails or anything like that in that kind of footage when he shot the people in the mosque. But with Buffalo, you actually did see resulting carnage with the bullet shots. A lot of people think that Christchurch was just a crisis acting, whereas with Buffalo, that looked really real. And apparently, he had Googled the most African American populated county within his range, which was this area in Buffalo. I think he did it by zip code. And he went to a shopping center called a shopping grocery store called Tops. Got out of the car and started going ham on everyone. The first two people he killed were white. There was a white lady in a blue dress,
I saw that
royal blue, right?
raw video. It was
Oh yeah, I did too.
very disturbing because, dude, she was dead before she hit the ground.
Oh yeah, yeah.
She was gone. Like, how?
He got her like 3 times
Yeah,
before she even fell.
it was so disturbing, and it just makes me like, what if that was someone you know? Like, they're just hanging out at the grocery store, and then you turn around and you're dead.
Yeah,
That fucking sucks.
That was my point.
It's sad.
The way he shot, and the speed, the cadence that he shot, and the accuracy was like.
Yes,
I don't know any
on.
kids. I don't know any kids in my area, and I've shot competitions. I've done 3-gun and stuff like that, and I don't know any kids unless they're raised in it and they do it all the time with their folks and their brothers and everything.
Yeah,
that can run a gun that good. And I don't. Can you get that good from Call of Duty? Maybe.
No.
I don't know.
No.
No.
Totally different.
Hello,
There's
Johnny.
so much more
Real
to a real
kickback
gun
in
than
Call of Duty.
Hello,
What's that?
Johnny and Ape. Sorry, I was mic'd out for a moment there because I got a phone call. But hello, guys.
No. What I was saying, there's no real kickback or resistance with Call of Duty. Yeah, your controller may kind of shake and vibrate when you fire the trigger. But for instance, I have a Rossi ranch hand, which I lost in a boating accident. And when I fire that thing, okay, I mean, it flies, the casing flies up right in my frickin' face, so I have to use goggles. It's a 45 repeater, although in Wisconsin it's technically a pistol. Either way, I've gone on coyote kills with that. I've shot squirrel and things with this thing.
with a
And,
45.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It blows them away. But
it guts them too.
Oh yeah, you can actually shoot this thing one-handed because it's just like it's like a pistol and a repeater all smushed into one. But
When you say repeater, what do you mean?
well, you can. It has the under lever in the ventral side where you can pop out the cartridge with the handle. A lot like a repeater rifle. Okay.
It's a lever action mare's leg, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. A lever action mare's leg. As a matter of fact, I have a hogshead holster that goes that straps around.
Or they call them hog legs too.
Yeah, hog leg. And
I've heard it referred to as mare leg more often.
Okay, well, either way, I mean, the thing is that it does have a bit of a kick to it, and I don't know exactly what type of rifle that kid used in Buffalo, but certainly
he was using an AR.
An AR-15. Okay.
And somebody was just in the guest, but I didn't get to you quick enough. Sorry. Whoever that was, come on back in.
And I had AR-15s before. I lost them in a tragic ice fishing lake fire boating accident.
Jesus, you too?
Yeah.
Those guns get lost so easy.
So sorry.
I'll tell you what, whoever gets the salvage, the jobs to go around these lakes and rivers is just going to rake it in.
I guess so.
Hey, that's why I'm building a hookah, man.
But the thing is that considering that kick and the fact that boy was not very had some distance in range between his first few targets, at least. He did not miss any of them, and I miss like shit all the time with what I've got. Is what I'm trying to say. And, I've taken hunter safety. I, have my license and everything for the state of Wisconsin to operate these firearms. And I've gone on, several different hunting expeditions, and I've gone to the gun range many times, and you can't get that good right away. Just being able to handle that.
Well, if he picked up those guns on his birthday, and that wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about the Uvalde, Texas one, Mitchell?
The Texas one that just happened.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know a whole lot about it.
Me neither. It's just, I'm just getting bits of information that I'm looking up here, and we don't know how accurate it is because the news is never very accurate.
Yeah.
Take it with a
They
grain
don't
of
have
salt.
to be since 2012 due to the amendment to the Smith-Mundt Act. They can pretty much post whatever they want to the American public. But anyway, go on.
Yeah.
Propaganda's legal now.
Yes, it is.
Well, I mean, like, yes, when I had my AR, right?
Before you lost it, and
Tragic boating accident.
oh, that's terrible, Chris.
Yeah, didn't try to get it, but you're talking a platform that doesn't have a lot of recoil. You know what I mean? So once you realize that, the gun shyness goes away. So yes, you can get very proficient with it very quickly, but you're not going to buy it and same day go out and fucking, hit everything fucking right on mark, especially if they're your first expedition out with
Yeah.
it is a
And
fucking mass shooting.
and nailing your reloads like he did. I mean, he
Yeah.
was quick.
Yeah, and I mean, you can get airsoft guns prior to that are exactly like fucking ARs and
Yeah.
AKs. They operate almost in the exact same way. And a lot of guys do still use them to this day. Special forces guys use airsoft all the fucking time. Cheaper to train with.
Sure.
And they operate the exact same way.
So it has the same recoil on an airsoft?
No. I mean, it's just like, despite what you might think, the AR and the AK-47 doesn't have a lot of recoil from the get-go.
No.
Right? Like, I mean, you can fucking even turn it to full auto, and yes, your AK is going to be worse, but you're still not looking at a lot of recoil, right? They're not fucking 303 fucking British rounds. These are little tiny fucking
Yeah, I
rounds,
know.
and I can hold anything I had that fired either 5.56 or 7.62. Every one of them, I can hold one hand and fucking just empty the goddamn magazine without missing. Well, without having a problem with controlling it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would say the one thing that is hardest to get used to on especially the AR platform is if you're going to use optics. Optics actually make it fucking harder to use. Iron sights are fucking always dead on, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
I never have a problem with iron sights, but optics, I have to fuck with them forever. Like I said, not a lot of recoil. A fucking infant can almost run one of these things. You know what I mean?
Hey, Chris.
Yeah, brother.
Are you talking about optics like a red dot?
Yeah, like red dots and stuff. Red dots, until you get used to them, they're fucking tough to sight in.
Right. And do you have astigmatism in your eye?
No, I don't have.
You don't need glasses or anything?
No.
Okay, because people that have astigmatisms have a hard time picking up that red dot. Also, there's just I've tried shooting with them, and I really don't. I mean, I use irons on everything. I do have one. Well, I used to have one rifle that had a prism sight on it, but it wasn't a projected red dot. So,
well, I've used iron sights since I was a fucking toddler, dude. My first gun was a crack barrel BB gun, right? That I got when I was 5, and it took me and my buddy to operate it. He had to stand on the stock while I cracked the barrel, right? And all of my other guns that I grew up with, I got really fucking good. Like, when my dad and them used to drink with his buddies, they would get me down in the basement and do shooting tricks for them, right? Like fucking snapping off matches and shooting tabs off cans and stuff like that. Like, that was how we were raised, right? But as soon as I went into optics, even scopes take a while to get used to. especially
Yeah.
if all
Yeah.
you run is iron sights.
Oh yeah, I mean that's an entire machine in itself.
It
That
really
you have
is.
to manage on top of being able to navigate the gun.
Yeah, and I mean, when you get into usually scopes of any caliber, you're talking around that's quite large, right? Generally like 308 to 30
Yeah.
odd 6. You're talking big rounds, and those fuckers
Oh,
hurt. We're getting
uh-oh.
gun shy is easy.
Yeah, I've got a scope on my 308.
Yeah. But
You
you know
know,
what?
Hey, Brandon.
before you lost it, of course. So
No, mine's bolt. My 308's bolt action. It's actually
okay,
Well,
So
I
Look
it's
bought
over
old
your left
school.
shoulder, Brandon. There's a cop standing there.
when I bought a 308 2 years ago, right? A bolt action 308, and I put a scope on it. I went through 45 fucking rounds before I got used to that scope. But I could fucking take my 7mm that I just picked up, iron sight it, and whammo, dead on every time.
I'm lucky. I've got a friend who's a gunsmith. So
Well, I mean, being a gunsmith had nothing to do with it. It was just the fact that I wasn't used to using a scope again, right?
well, my buddy Kent can he can get shit. He is the most OCD guy you have ever met. He runs a machine shop and he's also a gunsmith.
Mhm.
And
There's a dangerous combination.
he builds his own weapons, but he has a license for it.
Will you be friends?
I don't know. He's
Sure,
kind of
look it up.
paranoid.
He can
Perfect.
actually become the armorer of Grand Canada, Canada's army.
Yeah, we're gonna need that. Recruit.
Ooh, that's funny, CJ. The kid shot better than the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah. I mean, it's fucking sad to say, but I mean, he had better accuracy than most fucking trained police officers.
I don't believe it. I really don't believe that. That was either the kid operating that gun from his GoPro perspective, or maybe the people were, again, like my suspicions on Christchurch, crisis actors. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
mean,
Like,
Well,
it's
and
not hard.
like-
It's not hard to kill somebody with a gun, especially when they don't expect it.
sure.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the video footage of the Boston shooter, right? That's the one that went into the Tabs grocery store.
Yeah, I actually, Mandy, Goodmother was asking me for the raw footage on that, and I did see it, in the on TOR, and I got to see, him drive up and everything like that, and from start to finish, pretty much.
Mhm.
Well,
it-
what I find is amazing is that, like we were talking about earlier, this stuff goes down. They instantly have everything this person's ever done on social media. They have this big manifesto that they put out. They know everything about him, and then he was on the radar because a year ago he threatened to shoot up his school. It's kind of like when the World Trade buildings came down, and there was a cop that just luckily found one of the terrorists' passport that went through a plane wreck in a building on the street. Just a lot of coincidences.
A lot of
little
strange
too
shit.
easy, huh? Yeah.
Well, the Boston shooter, they said that they were they had him under
Wait,
observation.
you mean Buffalo?
Buffalo.
Yeah, he was
sorry.
Buffalo.
Yeah, they said they had him under observation for like nearly 2 years. Like,
Yeah, you know who else they had under observation?
who's that?
The Tsarnaev brothers, the Boston bombers.
Oh yeah. Okay.
They had the older brother under observation, and he went to, was it Syria? Went to a terrorist training camp, and they knew about it, and he got back into the country.
Yeah.
And
And
you know
I-
who else was under observation?
Who?
That guy that
right
shot
now.
at the Pulse nightclub.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
what wasn't the guy who did the Las Vegas shooting? Wasn't he under observation as well?
don't remember.
They kind of dropped the he kind of was, but that's another one that has just disappeared off the face of the earth. You try to look that stuff
we
up,
don't
you
hear
can't
anything
find.
about Vegas, and I mean, he really fucking killed a lot of people at that show. And,
If you believe that he did it.
Yeah, there's a
makes
lot
you
of
wonder if observation isn't equal to training.
Well, they had videos on YouTube, and people were doing on their phones were live streaming, and I've seen a video, but it's no longer available. You can't find it anywhere. And
where you can hear the
there
difference?
was somebody yelling, and they were looking up, and the shots were ringing out, and it sounded like two different belt-fed machine guns to me, because it sounded like they had different cyclic rates. One
yeah.
sounded like a 308, and one sounded like a 5.56 belt-fed, because they have a different report. And this person looked up and said they're shooting out of that helicopter, and they were running for their lives. And some of these people that got shot were shot in the top of the head. Well, if you're 600 yards away over there and you're shooting, you'd have to really be lobbing those rounds in to hit people and to hit them directly on the top of the head, because that'd be as far as that trajectory could go on that.
Well,
And
I mean,
there were people that were screaming that they're shooting out of the helicopters, and there's video of the air traffic control going on at the time that had 3 unknowns. I think it was 2 or 3 unknowns, and then there was these helicopter tour rides that go around Vegas, and they take off from the airport and they fly around downtown Vegas, and none of those guys were in the air. But they were helicopter. I don't know if if a helicopter puts off a different transponder than an airplane. Brandon, you might know.
No, it's
just a transponder. It's a beeper.
Well, the IFF is part of your radar system, and or else it's a broadcast only.
Yeah,
probably in a helicopter. They probably have color weather radar in there.
Don't you also have to have it?
This video I watched showed all of the traffic coming in and out of Vegas at the time of that shooting.
Air traffic.
And air traffic. It's a website you could get on, and you could watch every plane to watch their number, like their ID number. You could watch where they were circling, where they come and land. They've got it on LAX. You can get online and look at these big major airports, and you can watch every plane that's coming in to land at that airport or take off, and they're all by their call number. Well, these did not have any numbers. They were just 3 or 2 inanimate objects floating around out there, but they weren't ID'd. And then you have a bunch of people screaming, saying they're shooting out of the helicopters flying over the top of us.
Even though the official story said that he was shooting out of like the 43rd window or something of this hotel.
Yeah, the MGM Grand.
Yeah, MGM Grand.
Well,
and then when they found him after he had been terminated, they find his blood on the floor, but they find a bunch of new spent brass on top of it. That it wasn't the guys that shot him. They shot him from the hallway into there. So how did he mortally wound himself and then shoot another few hundred rounds of brass on top of the blood?
Yeah, then the whole story's just shoved down the memory hole. We don't hear about that like we don't hear about Waukesha anymore.
Yeah.
No, it's not fitting the fucking narrative, and that's it.
And his Filipino girlfriend told how many different stories?
Oh, and then she took off and she disappeared, went to the Philippines, and they're saying, you need to come back and talk to us. And, that one didn't pass the stink test either. They had video of the police badge cams, and they were walking through all the parking lots, the different parking lots at the MGM Grand, and they showed 2 cops walking next to each other. They walked through this parking lot, and you could see every car that they looked at, and they were looking for a gray Honda Odyssey minivan. They walked through there, and there was no gray Honda Odyssey minivan. 4 hours later, another group of cops walked through there, and they had their badge cams on. And lo and behold, right up there up front, is a gray Honda Odyssey minivan, which just so happened to have a bunch of gunshot residue, powder residue, and it belonged to him. But 4 hours prior to that, there was that they had walked through there, and you can see the timestamps on the videos. And there was no gray minivan, and then all of a sudden, poof, the minivan showed up.
Brandon, when it comes to the helicopter thing, and like you're saying, they have like a transponder or some kind of beacon on it, right?
Yeah, IFF.
Yeah, if I didn't want my helicopter to be found, I wouldn't have one of those in there or on, right?
Yeah, you can turn them off. You just pull a circuit breaker.
So the fact that they weren't registered there or weren't, on the list of landing and takeoffs, I mean, that's not that hard to hide.
Well, it's not. It's pretty unusual that you would have, in controlled airspace, that people would just be flying around and nothing would be made of it, because that's a serious offense, especially since the airport for Las Vegas is pretty close to the Strip.
Right, but who said they took off from the airport in Las Vegas?
Well, flying around, and I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying flying that close to a major airport like that in a controlled airspace, that close to that many Air Force bases, you be the judge.
It's not illegal if you was the government.
Funny fact there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just saying.
No,
That's
Brandon,
very suspicious.
Out of curiosity, are you a pilot or Air Force or?
I'm a pilot of ultralight aircraft.
Okay.
But I spent most of my career building aircraft and aerospace.
Oh, no shit.
Vehicles.
Okay.
I'm a mechanical engineer, and I've got a master's degree.
Cool. Very cool.
And he knows how to pop a deer's hip back into joint too. So he's into
How'd you
animal
hear about that?
He could do that from the air.
How'd you hear about the deer?
You said it on a stream, you fool.
I thought I just told Chris.
Yeah, you told me. And
I was
told
on the
them.
stream, you fool.
I told them because you were supposed to come on with me, and I was like, he's going to be a little bit late because he's, just hit a deer on the way home. But yeah, if I wanted to hide an aircraft, especially in the dead of night, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, I wouldn't be putting anything on it that, indicates my location. So I wouldn't even have flashers on it. It's not impossible to do.
There's other people's video, and it was actually surveillance cameras that are on the outside of the buildings that overlook the Strip and everything. And there were pictures, and they even said, well, we believe this was a news helicopter or something like that, but it was blacked out, and it didn't have any running lights on it, but you could see flashes, intermittent flashes, and they look like actual reports out of a weapon. You could see flash, 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 and then it would stop, and then you could see that whatever it was in changed its angle, like it was making a circle, and then you'd see flash, 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 and then it would stop.
Aircraft, you've got red lights, meaning that's your left side, green lights on your right side, a white light in back, and a red strobe underneath.
And these had nothing but white flashes coming out of the darkness.
Right.
Yeah. And those videos are history. They're old and dusty, like Flanders.
Shit. You guys are
holes.
senior, man. What you talking about?
Old and dusty.
I just want to say hi. Brandon, I just got your message. I just opened my laptop. So I saw that you were still on, thankfully. So appreciate the invite. I don't really have a whole hell of a lot to say because of the topic at hand. I pretty much tuned it out because I knew that the news would do nothing but cover it, and I didn't just know of it. That's all I know right now. So I couldn't give my thoughts on it really.
Well, we've gone beyond just the Texas shooting yesterday to a whole bunch of weird shootings, and right now we're talking about the MGM Grand shooting.
Oh, the one that happened in 2017?
Yeah.
Yeah, 18.
Has it been that long?
Something like that. Yeah, it was like 2017, 2018, something like that, if I remember right.
Jesus Christ. I must be getting old, man.
Shit.
Time is just fucking like
you ain't even out of your
Jesus.
You and Scotty ain't even out of your 30s yet.
Yeah. No, I'm not out of my 30s yet. Time has already become meaningless.
Young punks.
No, you guys are good. I'm glad that we got such an age difference here with everybody, collectively all together. It's awesome that we could all come together and talk about, stuff like this and bounce ideas off of each other, give wisdom where we can and maybe see a new point of view on something else, at other times, who knows?
Yeah, for real.
I'm pretty set in my ways, man. You're fucking set, but I'll listen though, depending on what it is.
Hey, Saunders, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
We were talking about how long it takes to get proficient with an AR platform rifle. And if an 18-year-old that wasn't real familiar with it could go into a grocery store and operate it like a person that had been kicking in doors and doing that for years. That video of that kid in Buffalo, he was C-clamping the front forend right behind the front sight. His reloads were on point. He was 17 or 18 years old. In my opinion, and this is only my opinion, and I don't know anything because all my guns got lost in a lake fire one time. But it's just amazing. What is your opinion on you being in the military? How long it took to do that?
Well, to give, I definitely want to watch the video. Is there any way to see those? But I'll give you just off the cuff.
They were on YouTube.
Okay.
There were pictures of him, videos of him rolling up and jumping out of the car, and he started blasting.
Outside of a potential of growing up around weapons or having members in the military themselves that could have showed him things, which is highly unlikely, but possible. I'm just throwing.
I got to cut out real quick. I'll be listening.
Okay. Outside of things like that, or growing up hunting, trapping, shooting, skinning, and all that stuff. I mean, that can definitely get you familiar with a lot of different weapon platforms. But proficient with reloads, any type of tactics, any type of button hook, any type of recon. Any type of I'd have to look at his weapons layout to see what Mouth Agape was talking about to be sure. But if he was acting like he knew what he was doing, he was shooting, moving, and communicating. Even if it was with himself, and he was very efficient at it, and the reloads were efficient, then that is pretty suspicious. Because you got to get to know that because I never used weapons, guys. My entire life, I shot one rifle and one pistol one time until I was 30 years old. Until I joined the military. So that's coming from someone who had no experience with any type of weapons platform at all.
On the other end of that, Father Saunders, I grew up with all that because where I come from, hunting is still like
there you go. So I'm saying I'm saying if that's already been looked at because that's a possibility, even though it's very not common anymore, like what you guys have with hunters growing up and farmers and whatnot. It's not commonplace now, but yeah, I was adding that into the equation, based on all that. If he didn't have any of that, then yeah, that would be sus. If he did grow up like that, I can see him being pretty proficient with it.
Well, I've heard it multiple times that, when they invented the M16 or essentially like the
Barbie gun.
Yeah, the prototype of the AR. They said that within 6 hours, they can train a fucking greenhorn to use this thing like it's nobody's fucking business, and he's been doing it his whole life. Now, they did not include tactical reload or anything like that. That was just operation, maintaining. That's it.
Yep.
Right? And that is literally what they meant. Within 6 hours, yes, and I believe it. Within fucking 2 hours, I think you could do it. Right?
Oh, yeah. If you're talking about just basic knowledge, and how to reload, how to fire maintenance, such as CLP or safe cleaning oil, cleaning out your weapon, field stripping it, being proficient at it. Knowing how to do it within 6 hours, absolutely. You definitely
now to be an accurate, but to be a fucking really good shot with it. I mean, like I said, iron sights. I'm actually perfectly fine with iron sights. As soon as I put on like optics or scopes or even red dots, my fucking accuracy goes down for hours.
Yeah, but I mean, like what you guys are talking about though is military training, and what Chris is talking about is just the actual users' failure rate.
Well, all these things got to be taken into consideration when you're making an educated, guess or whatever on, what's going on. Maybe that, we're not seeing or the average isn't seeing. You got to look at all these little details. You know what I mean?
And he's not military trained, right?
I mean, yeah, he could be naturally good or cross dominant or something like that not everybody has. But at the same time, there is without actual military training or some sort of organized training program.
Yeah.
And you get it in the fucking mail, and then you start rocking and rolling. These shots were just too accurate, man.
Let's look at Kyle Rittenhouse.
Okay.
Good hero of Kenosha.
Yep.
He only missed once.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was super close range.
And he disarmed a guy. He was that accurate where he's like, I'm not going to kill you, but I'm going to get that gun out of, I'm going to disable your firing.
Well, Kyle had some really good trigger control.
That could have been a fluke, but let's be honest. Even myself, who've been around guns my whole fucking life, right? Now, these weren't anything much outside the scope of hunting rifles. But once I, started buying my own guns, well, I like to look tactical, right? So,
of course, Imperial.
That's right. I mean,
you're a fucking pogue.
Yeah, I want the biggest magazines with the biggest amount of fucking bullets or largest amount of bullets I can carry, and I want fucking to tape two of them together. You know what I mean? But yeah, like when I first picked up like a semi-automatic rifle, it wasn't hard to learn. Right?
No, it's very lightweight. The AR system is very lightweight. It's about 7 pounds, give or take. I don't know if they still allow you to buy 30-round mags. Do they still allow 30-round mags for AR?
Depends on your state.
Depends on the state. Okay.
In Canada, you can't buy. You can buy magazines, but they're all pinned at 5.
Okay.
But that pin falls out all the time, and then you end up with space for 30.
I would always spend, if you guys do have your own mags, I would definitely spend money on the mags, because if you have a mag that has any issues or is a little bit cheaper, what I found on that is that I would always load 29 rounds, because it seemed like if I always did a full 30 on a cheap magazine, I'd always have a lot more issues just because I had 30 for some odd reason. But if you spend the money, you shouldn't have any problems. But with me, I always load 29 because I had more weapon jams than I would like to have. So I just adjusted. So don't go cheap on any of that, guys.
With my P mags and fucking mag pools, right? They like the steel case ones. I found they were not quite shaped right when you put in 30. You know what I mean? Like something about the top of the shape. So I used to have to hammer it in a bit to make a little bit of an adjustment. It was just a couple mils, right? And then she'd take 30, no problem. But with my P mags, the P mags took 30 and didn't have an issue, but I was always worried about the plastics actually cracking apart, right? Because they are still half and half joined together, and they seem to kind of want to like really. You could see that once you put in that 30th one, like the plastic at the bottom would really start to stretch out. You know what I mean? Like
the mag was actually kind of like too small for it.
Essentially, but I mean, it's plastic. Like plastic is only going to take so much of a
beating. Whatever magazine you do get, you want to be able to be a little rough with it and not have any issues, because it's going to get used, it's going to get dropped.
Kind of like your girlfriend.
Yeah,
and
it's going to get
my
used.
Steel ones worked awesome.
It's going to need relubricated and cleaned after use. Let's just hope you don't get routed off the range. If you have to get routed off the range, that means you got some type of shit from the hookers last weekend. You got to go get fucking checked out. And they call it rotted off the range because you actually get a rod in your fucking pee hole on some STDs. So you don't want to fucking ever have that. I've never had that, thank God.
Polyurethane over polyamory any day. Yeah. Okay.
Dude, everyone out there, just protect yourself because I couldn't imagine that would feel good at all. Fuck that. I've had a vasectomy. No one's shoving something down my fucking pee hole unless it's to save my friggin' life. And I better
You know what that's called? It's called sounding. And I'm never going to let that happen to my pee hole.
Well, I really feel for any of you out there that currently have or know somebody that have catheters because you'd have to change those tubes all the time, dude.
Christ.
I don't want nothing to do with that.
God.
And I used to
work
a health.
I know a guy that has one.
Taking care of developmentally disabled. Fuck it. They're mentally retarded. I'm not going to be politically correct. That's fucking what it was. Okay, I took care of them, and I love that job. But some of them had that, or they had feeding tubes. Some of them had to be showered. Some of them would fucking shit themselves. You have to clean it up, dude. Yeah, it was crazy.
Bags.
I'd bring them home, dude, for like Thanksgiving dinner and shit because they made me fucking laugh, dude. I'd puree their food, give their medication. But yeah, dude, colostomy bag, or if you have really, really, really bad like constipation issues, thankfully I have not. Of course, something butthole had to come up, right?
No, man, I got a power butthole. No constipation here. Oh no.
Sometimes you try prune juice, or you do milk and molasses enemas, or you do suppositories and shit, dude. I wouldn't want to have anything to do with that. So I'm just thankful, that.
Well, Father Sanders, don't they actually have like plastic shunts that you could plug the tube into before it becomes intrusive into the actual flesh of the body? Like say catheter, or I don't know. I'm not medical, so
I don't know. The only ones that I've seen are somehow, some way in the flesh of the body, and then they have like a catch bag.
Total fucking invasive, eh? Oh,
yeah, geez. I mean, you can hide it. Like you could put it in your pants, and it'd be hard to tell because you can't like hide it. It's like a bladder.
So
you can push it against your skin, or
I know a guy that had that. He got I think it was a snowmobiling accident when he was young, and he totally crushed his pelvis.
Oh man!
And
did he lose his shit in a snowmobile accident?
No, but he has to cath. He has to use a catheter to.
Oh my God! Oh geez.
I feel for him. I really do. I just. I try to be thankful that I have 10 fingers, 10 toes still. All that stuff.
Dak was saying that the emperor shot off one of his toes.
I've never shot off one of my toes.
Well, that's not what Dak said.
No, I got all my toes.
It's probably evil, Dak.
I got all my body parts. I just broke a lot of them.
But no, I don't know. Even though I'm military guys, and I love to talk about it. I'm only experienced with 2 rifles. Like really, like know my stuff. You guys that have hunted your whole life, you'd have more vast knowledge of different weapons systems.
I've only been hunting for about 7 years, so
see, I only have the experience with the M4 and the M249. That's the SWAT automatic weapon. So that's basically a machine gun with a 5.6 round.
Yeah.
That's not the 240. The 240 Bravo, now the Lima, because it has a collapsible buttstock, believe it or not, and a shorter barrel. That fires fully automatic 7.62. I never was that. I was the 249 gunner and then regular M4 gunner. So those are the only things that I'm really confident on, but I couldn't talk a whole lot about pistols because I've only owned one in my life. And I was just getting used to that before shit happened. I've never owned a shotgun or, anything of that nature.
I love my
a Nebraskan that doesn't have a shotgun?
No, that wasn't allowed in my house, man.
I love my
That's like a Kansas guy that doesn't have a shotgun.
Well, it was a BB gun only. That's all we were allowed.
You got a shotgun, True Blood?
Oh, yeah.
Before he lost it.
Yeah.
How do you hunt duck and geese without shotgun?
Yeah, I think I had 8 shotguns before they all fell into that icy fire lake.
I hate
accident.
that when that happens. I do.
I've got to get a new shotgun because mine only holds 2 shells.
I've got a wing master, and I've gone duck hunting with that, and like I said, I had before I lost it the Rossi, and Saunders. What, if I may ask, what branch were you in?
I was in the Army.
Oh, I for some reason thought you were Navy, but okay.
My father was Navy.
I was Navy.
Yeah, I was gonna say that guy right there is Navy.
Yep, my father was Navy from
Nice.
62 to 65.
Okay, my
I
dad
found
was
his
Army.
DD 214. It's like a little placard. It's like a little place card
Yeah,
or note card. Yeah. My mom found it. So,
nice.
yeah, I'm really happy about that.
That's fucking cool, man.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, Memorial Day is coming up, and I just want to I just want to give it a shout out to my dad, who was Army, and Saunders. I told you that he served in Korea, and because I'm old balls.
Yeah, was he? What unit was he? Do you remember what his unit was?
I don't know what his unit was, but he, like I told you, he started off as a sniper, then he went into rocket command. So he was a rocket. He was in an Honest John rocket launcher.
Old school.
Aren't they
Yeah.
considered grenadiers though?
No, they're not that fucking old. He didn't fight in the Revolutionary War, you bastard. He
I thought
didn't
they
fight
still had
Canada in the
grenadier
War of
fucking-
1812.
I thought they still had the grenadier thing in the U.S.
No, they were using
I
black
don't
powder.
know.
They were
Stop it.
They were using flintlock.
Stop it.
Hey Mitchell,
Yeah, brother.
in the U.S. Armed Forces, they have a thing called a mortar. It basically launches a grenade.
I know what a mortar is.
Yeah,
You want me to show you how to make
Chris,
one?
didn't you sack our White House in 1812?
Yeah, you want me to show you how to make one?
Yeah, I can make one out of a piece of PVC pipe and some white rain hairspray. It's called a potato gun.
A potato gun.
Same thing, yeah. A little bit on the light side, but yeah, no.
No,
They'll shoot
Saturn,
a
I
they'll
don't
shoot a
know what
racquetball like
unit-
you wouldn't believe.
I don't know
I
what
thought they
units-
still use that title on somebody.
We don't call them grenadiers now. I don't think we've been shooting.
Flanders has some grenadine in his drink, probably, but
No. I haven't used that in a long time because I had to get rid of the orange juice.
oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Officer Zombro. All right.
Welcome, Eric.
I finally got my Wi-Fi working. How are you guys?
Hey, brother.
Doing good.
Good, Easy. How are you?
Good, thanks. Saunders, how are you, sir?
I'm doing
Chris?
good. Thank you, man. How are you?
Good, good.
Good.
I'd say don't call him sir. He works for a living, but the fucker don't work for a living.
I wouldn't say that anyway because I've known some sirs, man, who were fucking all about that shit, and they're lucky to get any sleep. There is some that actually put some work in. But yeah, my sir thing, I actually got in trouble a couple of times when I called the drill sergeant sir when I was in the Army because I was so used to saying sir and ma'am. Now, he didn't fuck me up for it because he liked me and I was 30, but it's drill sergeant in the military. So Roger, drill sergeant, yes, drill sergeant, no, drill sergeant. And I said sir, which is, officer. He's like, sir, you fucking owe me for that one, Saunders. You never made me pay for it. But yeah, no, I do know some sirs that work. But the sergeants, just like the middle class, is the backbone of the Army and the fucking country. Yep.
Well, I'm just the uneducated type, so what do I know?
Anyways, Eric,
Yes.
take a look at yesterday's shooting. Have you heard anything that raises your eyebrows on that shooting?
Well, just that the kid was an expert marksman.
Apparently.
Some of the guys that I've talked to from like the departments here, I don't have that much info other than the kid was an amazing shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, for being right out of high school and buying a gun on his 18th birthday.
Yeah.
And he just turned 18.
But I'll be trying to get some more info, but I don't know. it is an interesting. It's an interesting one, that's for sure.
You guys,
Yeah.
you guys think
How did
about
he get in?
In the 6 years I knew,
No, it's from
That's what they got to figure out too, is how he had access.
Now, see, I've heard stories that he was having a rolling gunfight with Border Patrol agents, crashed his truck into the school. Then, I mean, if he went through some plate glass windows and then just jumped out and ran into the school, that would explain how he'd get into school. But that's
his truck.
just
The pictures of his truck. He's in a ditch.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, he didn't. The truck never made it into the school.
Okay.
He shot his grandmother in the face. Why was he having a fight with the Border Patrol?
Yeah. And why
That
does the
part doesn't
Border
make any
Patrol
sense
have
either.
a SWAT team in Uvalde, Texas, when they should have a SWAT team on the southern border? I don't understand why the Border Patrol, unless they don't have a local sheriff or state troopers, and you can't swing a dead cat in Texas and not hit a state trooper. So don't tell me that.
Yeah. I live there.
Can you swing a dead cat and not hit a trooper?
Nope, not in Dallas.
Yeah.
Not in Waco, where I lived either. Oh, we lost Zombo again.
Yeah.
But he's back, I think.
Well, hey guys, I just wanted to pop in and say thank you, Brandon, for inviting me. I want to say, hey, how y'all doing? Drop by, give a like, bullshit for a little bit, but that's about all I got on this, guys.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to pop out too, guys. I got to make something as well, and it looks like Mitchell is going to make some Tim Hortons because he's Canadian. And
well, Chris is out having a cup of coffee right now.
Yeah.
You guys, Brandon, hey, Chris, and I'm sorry, in the upper right, I don't see your name there.
That's Johnny.
Johnny.
Oh, it's Johnny Midnight.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't see the little names under the boxes because you're on your phone, aren't you, Brandon?
How'd you know who I was then?
Because I know you goofy looking bastard.
He's the best beard in MGTOW.
I'm working.
Beard.
I'm working on it.
That's beard.
No, that's a fantastic beard. You know that. I've told you that more than once.
You know that the only reason I'm growing it, I mean, I've grown it out before, but why I'm growing it out now is just a bet or a competition with a buddy of mine to see who could have the biggest, gnarliest beard when we go float the Yellowstone River on the 8th, 9th, and 10th of July on the boat float. It's a Mardi Gras on a river for 3 days.
Gotcha.
And he had this monster beard last year, and he had even had his mustache waxed, and I was like, you bastard. So I thought, well, I'll get you. He ended up shaving, and I was like, oh, I got a 4-month head start on you, sucker.
Yeah, that's crazy. But Brandon, thanks again for having me on. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
brothers.
Thanks for coming to my first official stream.
Yeah, man, one? Congrats.
All right, man. I went to my laptop and saw that. You sent it like 10:30 this morning. I'm like, oh, fuck it. Is he still on? I thought maybe you went on at that time. I'm like, well, I was missing it now. Luckily, you were on and I caught it, man. So, hey, you guys have a great night.
Hey, thanks a lot for talking to me, Saunders. And Brandon, thanks for having me here on your first stream. Okay, man?
My pleasure. Thank you for coming.
All right.
See you, boys.
Look forward to
I will.
Again. Invite me again time, brother. You guys have a good one.
Bye now.
And then there was 3.
Absolutely.
I had a knock on the door. That's why I dropped out of the stream, and I didn't get to hear what Flanders was saying about the training and stuff. But I was going to make a point of.
He was just saying it's easy to learn how to shoot.
Yeah. So that Rittenhouse, when he hit the ground and that kid was trying to smash his head in with that skateboard, that kid, I should say the felon was trying to smash his head in with a skateboard. He had a weapon malfunction. And that kid had the presence of mind he did a tap rack bang on that weapon because he had a failure to feed, I believe. So he ran the charging handle and did everything he needed to do and got that gun up in time and got that guy shot that guy. It might have been the guy that was trying to shoot him with the pistol. When he shot him, blew his bicep off.
Yeah.
He was a good shot. He did de-arm him, like Johnny said. He de-armed him all right. But so
Yeah.
what's
I'm actually
Mitchell
really
doing?
proud of Kyle Rittenhouse. Rittenhouse. He
Well, I
did
know what.
he did the police's job that night.
Yeah, yeah. And that first guy that he popped, that guy was a freaking known sex offender. Had been arrested 6 times.
Just got out of a mental institution for being a child molester.
Right. Why is that person on the street?
They let him out to cause chaos.
Right.
They he was absolutely let out to cause chaos.
Who's that?
Kinda
Sorry, I missed it.
Kind of like bricks
that,
going up during the burn loot murder riots, where pallets of bricks would just magically show up on street corners.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was a doozy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like, where the hell did all these bricks come from? They're not doing any construction.
Bricks ain't cheap.
No, somebody was paying a lot of money to rent U-Haul trucks to have signs made, and people were pouring out of U-Haul trucks, and signs were bricks, weapons were pouring out of U-Haul trucks. They got video of that too.
Shields, batons, fireworks.
Oh yeah. It was pretty funny when they were trying to use freaking balsa wood shields. You could just play Red Rover, and go bowling through that thing. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
You ever play that game?
Rover, yeah, but we did it a little differently. We would all join hands,
and have somebody try to cannonball through there.
And then you get to running, and because you had 2 teams, one team was trying to keep people out, and the other team was trying to get somebody through. And if you know, it's like a whip.
Yeah.
If you're on the end of that whip, you're going to go through.
Yeah, we had when I was in 7th grade, the local roller skate rink had donated some skates to the PE class. So there for like 3 or 4 weeks, all we did was roller skate on the hardwood gym floor.
Yeah.
Well, that got kind of boring, so we started doing roller derby, our own version of roller derby, and smashing people into the bleachers. It was actually pretty fun.
I can see how it would be.
Oh, and then crack the whip. You'd get some poor sucker that couldn't hardly skate, and you'd get him on the end, and you'd do that big old daisy chain and come around, and then just crack them up into the bleachers. School was fun back then.
Yeah.
You had a chance of getting those.
Yeah, I mean, school used to be a very different story even when I was going to school, man. And I know you guys got a couple years on me, probably not many. But you know,
how old are you, Chris?
I am 39, sir.
Baby.
Well, you're not that old.
I'm 16 years older than you.
Oh, well, okay. I said a few.
And Brandon's 5 years older than me.
Well, there you go. See, he's even less.
I just hit the half-century mark here a few weeks ago.
Congratulations. Yes. You lived.
You lived.
I made it. And now I get an AARP freaking notice every 3 days. And I can't stand it.
You get a what?
AARP.
American Association of Retired People.
Oh.
I always thought it was American Association of Retarded People, but
well, it's really should be called the American Association of Liberal Retired People.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm 50 and I ain't retired. I can tell you that. I got 10 years to go.
You know, I don't know if I'm ever going to retire. You know, I don't know if I'm going to hold a job, but I don't think I'm ever going to retire.
I love your plan, Brandon. Building ultralights, dude, on your property. I don't want to be the test pilot, obviously, but I like it.
Oh, that'll be me.
Yeah, you go first.
I know a guy that has
with you.
a 2-seater, and I know him fairly well. He's got a 2-seater, and he wanted to go coyote hunting on his property, which encompasses a very large amount of area. And I'm like, only the Department of Agriculture and the game department can shoot coyotes out of an aircraft. And he's like, oh, come on, they'll never catch us. I'm like, I'll fly, you run the shotgun. I'm like, it sounds fun.
In Texas, you can shoot out of an aircraft.
Yeah, that's on private land, shooting at feral hogs, but I don't know. Texas is different. In Nebraska, you can't. The only people, they call them government trappers.
Yeah.
And they work for the government, and they will fly helicopters or fly planes and shoot coyotes out of that. But if you and I go out and try to shoot, I don't know how Kansas is like, but if you and I were to try to go out and shoot, we'd get in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, I don't know anything about shooting. I know the rules for dropping bombs or dropping anything out of an aircraft.
And I asked
it's
you,
frowned upon.
I asked you what the payload would be of your ultralights. I mean, do you have a figure yet?
It just depends on the ultralight I build. The higher the lift you got, the more drag you get. And for it to be an ultralight, it has to be less than 254 pounds.
Well, that's a lot of explosives.
That's the total weight.
That's the weight of the aircraft. So that means that the most engine you're going to be able to put on there, maybe 30, 35 horsepower.
Okay.
Because you got to figure that your structure is going to weigh about half, and your engine is going to weigh about half.
That's true.
And a 30 horsepower weighs about 100 pounds.
Hello, brother D-Man. How are you, sir?
Hello, brothers Emperor, Ape, and Mr. Trueblood. Congratulations on your first official stream.
Thank you. And D-Man, I am so happy you got on. You were my very first sub. And to have you on my very first official stream really makes a big difference. Thank you very much for showing up.
Yeah, remember, thank you for having me. I did stop by your test yesterday to leave my like, and I wasn't able to stay, though. I was at work when you went live.
Yeah, I saw that.
Hey, D-Man, is that a picture of a Yamaha Banshee?
That's my 87.
Nice.
Yeah,
I always wanted to ride one of those, but I was always I learned how to crash on a 3-wheeler, as most people did, but I never rode a really fast, hot 4-wheeler. I've done the dirt bikes.
Well, I like the 4-wheelers over 2 wheels because generally I can ride them. No
How many
problem.
times you broke your hip?
Well, only twice.
Only twice.
Well, I didn't say I didn't crash once in a while.
Well, yeah.
Right? As shit happens. I mean, fuck, we were out the other month there and fucking flipped the brand new $50,000 goddamn side-by-side. That was less than an hour into it. But, you know.
Flipped a side-by-side?
Yeah, dude, he fucking almost went over the goddamn mountain.
Woo.
Because it was up to a landing, where everybody goes to a lookout. So we were going to head up there and, have a smoke and whatnot. And fucking, he went up and went to do a spin around, right? And fucking caught a tree stump or a root that was just by a rock or something there. And fucking that caught in and flipped it right over. If he rolled a couple more times, he would have went right down the fucking mountain. And it's a straight drop for like 260 feet.
That would have left a bruise.
How do I make somebody a wrench?
You got to do that in YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah. That's only done in YouTube on the YouTube page. So, but yeah, D-Man, you can always come racing with me if we can ever get the goddamn carburetor working on this fucking Raptor.
You can hop on one of my machines, Chris. I got 4 of them. Take your pick.
Can I steal a set of your carbs?
I'm not sure I have one that would made up to your Raptor, but you could try.
Yeah, no, this fucking dual system from China, everything that I've gotten from China for these types of carbs to replace, they never work. Never. I got so fed up with the last Wolverine that I was trying to set up with one that
Hey,
I ended up throwing a fucking Big Bear carburetor on it. So I don't know, man. Don't know.
Is Rad in the chat?
Yeah.
I can't see the chat. I see the last thing from Indy talking about bots and rent and need some wrenches, but that's only what you bring up. I don't see
That's
the
some
chat at all.
asshole.
Eric says he's sorry, but his Wi-Fi and his phone fucked up again, so he had to reboot it all. But
maybe you guys hear me?
Who are you?
MGTOW Outlaw.
Who's that?
Does he have his pants off? I can't see.
No, not me, man.
Oh my!
I just wanted to see if you guys could hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
No worries, brother.
That's a piece of shit phone.
And I've gotten invaded by bots.
Yeah. But with no wrenches. Who's a wrench? Is anybody a wrench on your channel yet?
Not yet.
And you can't. Can you? Yeah, you should be able to open YouTube and wrench people. But you might drop out of the actual StreamYards for a sec, but you can just pop right back in as soon as you maximize it again.
All right. I got to get rid of this fucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
If you want, I'll freaking drop out. I'll wrench him out of here if you want.
No, he's got to do it.
Oh, he's not. He can't give them to him, but he's got to go through YouTube, doesn't he?
Yeah, you have to go through YouTube page to do anything. Nothing from StreamYards really does anything except links what he puts in the chat, right?
So Susie has the control.
Yeah, I mean YouTube was never really designed to be used by StreamYards. They were meant to fucking put you on there, right? So if you use YouTube Studios, you can do it there, no problem.
Hey, Chris, do you ever use Odyssey or get on Odyssey?
Not really. The only time I go to like Odyssey is if one of the like Hammerhand or Pops go to link it.
Did you get a notification the other day talking about how Odyssey's no longer has the buffering? They've got everything up to speed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't even tried it yet. I think I've watched one or two videos. I subscribe to a few places that are on YouTube, but they also back everything up like Hammerhand on Odyssey.
I was going to say,
frustrating.
Sorry,
what's
what
that?
were we saying?
Oh no, I lost my thought. Damn it!
Oh my god!
No,
You're like
okay.
One of the leaders of poetry. How do you lose thoughts?
I have no idea, man. No, now I remember what I was going to say. Is Odyssey basically like YouTube? You can upload videos and the same deal?
Yes.
Sweet.
I don't think they have a streaming service yet, but you can, I guess you can make it, anything you make on YouTube, you can actually set it up to go over to Odyssey or BitChute.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think OBS, unlike StreamYards, even with the paid version of StreamYards, although you get a bigger list of places where you can stream to, you can't link Odyssey or MGTOW.tv or any of those main ones, right?
Yeah.
Hey, there you go, Indy. You got a wrench. Kick those motherfuckers.
I'll have to try that out.
There you go. There you go.
Did he release the hounds? And now he's got the circle of death going. There he is.
Alrighty. Yeah, no, it sucks that fucking StreamYards doesn't have a bigger group that you can stream to, like if you set up one, right?
And I pretty much wrenched everybody in chat.
You didn't wrench me, homie. You's racist. Use
I'll get you.
Yeah, you can always go back to the chat.
Yeah.
Because it's your stream, you can go back to the chat, the live stream chat, and wrench anyone from there too. But as long as you got somebody to kick the bots out right now, it's all good. Excuse me.
What happened to Scotty? Did he have to bounce? I got knocked out of there before, and I come back and he was gone, and so was or I seen Saunders leave, but did Scotty get kicked out or did he just leave?
I don't know.
And I just stepped away a few times, so I'm not sure. But yeah, anyway, going back onto the school thing, I haven't, like I said, I haven't watched the video of the Mexican kid that went through and shot everything up. But I imagine it's going to be disturbing. And as I stated, when it comes to the AR platform, I mean, it's not the hardest platform in the world to use, right? So, I mean, especially close range, there's no real threat. Like I said, it's hard to compare that to a soldier, right? Who's ready for a threat, not just I'm just gonna go in and do this. You know what I mean? They usually have people shooting back or potential people armed, and I mean, in this kid's case, there was nothing to stop him.
Hey, Chris, I got a little nugget for you here. You and Brandon and D-Man. I was watching a video the other day, and I don't know if any of you guys follow this guy. He's got a pretty big channel. He does a lot of survival stuff, weapon manipulation, camping, stuff like that. And he did a deal on you know who the I think it was 1998, there was a gentleman that was murdered in Texas, I believe, that had a hydrogen powered car.
Right.
He could run his engine completely off of water.
Yes, I did hear about that.
He was at a diner or a restaurant with a couple of his buddies, and they were eating, and then supposedly they were going to order dessert. He didn't want any dessert, but he ordered a cranberry juice to drink. And he took one sip of it, stood up, and said, "The bastards poisoned me," ran out of the restaurant and dropped dead in the parking lot.
Oh, shit.
Well, this guy says, is this a coincidence? The security guard at that Tops grocery store was a retired police officer that was working as an armed security guard. He has a YouTube channel where he has a Ford F-150 that starts on gas, and then he converts it over. And I saw the video. He converts it over, and he's got a system in the bed of the truck in a big wood crate, and he converts it over to it runs on hydrogen.
Yes.
Huh.
And he was an aspiring inventor, and I believe he was trying to patent this device that he had come up with for basically very, very fuel efficient vehicles. He happened to be the first person shot, or one of the first people shot at the grocery store.
Really?
Wow.
He was in the front of the store.
The thing with hydrogen vehicles, right? When they say we can run it on water, yes, but you don't run it on water alone. So
no, I was oversimplifying it.
Yeah, and I mean, the more efficient way of running anything with hydrogen, right? As you know, water, hydrogen, oxygen mixture, right? Is not to simply just run it off hydrogen. More efficiently, it's more efficient to bond hydrogen and oxygen back together in the same system, right? So now, if you want it to run it off hydrogen, you actually have to have liquid hydrogen in a tank in the vehicle. Then you're running on straight hydrogen. If you want it to run it off water,
yeah, I don't know exactly all the deal of it. I just saw he had some kind of an apparatus set up in the back of the bed, and then when he started the truck on gas, there was an F-150. when he started it up on gas, there was a valve that he reached in. He did something with it. It was up by his alternator mount, and then he went back to the back of the truck, and there was a pressure gauge. And the guy goes, "What's it reading?" And he said 50 psi.
Yeah.
And then the video kind of cut out. The guy that was doing it, I don't think he wanted to get a YouTube strike or something, so he kind of cut it out. But he had proven the point that this guy was an aspiring inventor. He was a retired police officer, and he was kind of heavy into self-reliance stuff. And I don't know if they've scrubbed his YouTube collection off or not. I cannot remember the name of it. I'd have to go back through. This guy did a live stream the other night after it was pretty late.
Hydrogen converting over from, like I said, if you want to run an engine off hydrogen, you got two ways of doing it. You can set up with a water system, which also has an electrolysis system that runs off your battery and your alternator, right? And that's probably why there was something up by the alternator. From what you're saying, this is what he's got. So you might have two water cylinders, essentially.
2 cylinders in the back of the bed. They look like little miniature scuba tanks.
Yeah, that's it. So these are your 2 cylinders where your electrolysis is actually going on, right? It's just he didn't probably show you. It's super simple process. Electrolysis is super easy, and breaking up hydrogen and oxygen is probably the most efficient process you'll ever fucking find, because all it takes is a little electricity current pass through the water, right? And on your anode, which is your negative side, and your electrode, which is your positive side,
cathode.
Cathode. You have oxygen on one, hydrogen released on the other. Now that's the most efficient bonding in a combustible engine, especially, that you'll find, is to bind 2 of them back together. So you're not running on hydrogen, you're running on hydrogen and oxygen, right? So with that, I mean, you still need electricity. You still need like a battery system to pass through it, and you still need, probably the gas engine to charge up to give you the initial jolt. Right?
Yeah, that's where you would start the truck on gas. He says, I have to start the truck on fuel. Yeah. And then once it was running, he started flipping these little levers and twisting these knobs, and then he says, now we're not running on gasoline.
Yes, no, you're running on the hydrogen oxygen rebonding. So you're remaking water. Now that's only going to last for so long, because although you are still charging the batteries up, the alternator is not that efficient, right?
Okay.
And to set up an alternator to be 100% positive, essentially, like to give you enough power so that you can use power and still top it right back up to full, is going to be one of those mythological processes. You know what I mean?
It violates the first law of thermodynamics.
It really does. I mean,
is that like a diminishing return where it just keeps...
Yeah. So it's a diminishing return, right? Now it'll last for quite a long time. Don't get me wrong. And you will use less of anything else. I mean, even if the best truck to convert over is actually one that runs on propane. So you use the propane to start you off rather than the gas engine, because propane engines are already set up to run a moisture fused.
Yeah, D-Man's on the panel, Bob. Do you want on?
Moisture fused gas system, right? So
my point on this was he was correlating these 2 people that were trying to basically take a big dent out of Big Oil's pocket, and they both ended up dying under really weird circumstances.
Yeah, well, I mean,
and he's like, is it a coincidence? I don't know. Let you decide. But it just was kind of ironic that this guy that Big Oil would not want to be successful in his endeavors
there's been a couple
be shot in a random shooting at a grocery store that was 400 miles away from the alleged shooter.
It's there's been a few incidents like that, and a few of these inventors, they had something, and I mean it's impossible to say for sure whether or not they were taken out. I mean, look at the guy who first made Starlight, right? Starlight was unknown right up until like fucking 2017. Nobody else could fucking figure it out. And this was some guy who sold fucking hair care products.
And I'm not familiar with the Starlight. What's that?
Starlight is a material that is 100% insulated against heat. You can hold a blowtorch on an egg with a bit of Starlight on it, and it will not fucking transfer heat through the Starlight to the egg. And that was
sounds
lost.
like witchery.
It does, and it was lost to us. Like this guy came up with it in the 60s or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, you can go look it up, and now we figured it out, and now anybody can make it. It's super simple, super fucking simple.
Why wouldn't they have used that instead of the ceramic tiles on the space shuttle and high-speed aircraft that generate immense? It's brittle.
Well, yeah, it's a bit brittle, but I mean, you can counteract that with other things, right? But like right now, everybody suspected up until we figured it out. I mean, everybody suspected that that's how he died. Like somebody fucking offed him, right?
He might have known the Clintons, though, too.
Hey, and it's highly possible that that's the case. Like, it's highly possible that somebody fucking killed him because he just died with a heart attack.
The better name for Starlight is a metallic aerogel, and that has been the holy grail to incorporate that into insulation in aerospace vehicles ever since I started working.
Well,
but
what they refer to as astrogel,
aerogel, but
yeah.
But it is very, very hard. It doesn't handle vibration very well,
and it's expensive.
Well, it's expensive because they don't, it's not mass produced.
Well, it's a fucking pain in the ass to produce.
Well, the Washington Monument had the cap, the top of the Washington Monument obelisk is made out of aluminum, because at the time it was made, they didn't have the ability to mass produce aluminum.
Mm-hmm. Dude, aluminum,
and it was more expensive than gold back when they made it.
Yeah.
Now it's just an aluminum cap on top of the monument.
Dude, Napoleon,
just recycled beer cans.
When Napoleon wanted to get fancy, right, for his very, very high up guests, at that time they would break out a set of aluminum fucking flatterware. Because it was more expensive than gold. Only because we didn't understand the process and we didn't have the system set up to handle large production, right? But once we got the fucking science down, I mean, it was just a matter of fucking paying the power bill, because that's all that uses is a
and it's the same story with this aerogel stuff. It's not made in large quantities because they haven't found a use for it.
Where I grew up, there was 2 giant aluminum plants. Yeah. They employed a lot of people. They're just desolate buildings now.
If we were to,
we must buy our aluminum from somebody else. When
we do. Iceland, Alcoa moved pretty much to Iceland because they got free electricity.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The aluminum plant here in BC, which is up in Kitimat, or sorry, not Kitimat. I forgot the name of the place, but it's up by Hyder. They built their own fucking hydroelectric dam because it was more cost efficient to build that huge ass setup than it was to run off fucking like city power or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Brandon, have you ever heard of Kaiser Aluminum?
Yeah.
That's where I was born and raised. There was 2 giant Kaiser aluminum plants in Spokane, Washington. And I think they even made aluminum for like Boeing and back in the day.
Yeah.
because you had the Boeing plant in Everett, which was 300 miles away, but this was a huge operation.
Well, Kaiser is where they invented explosive bonding. You have two dissimilar metals that you want to bond together.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get them to bond if you apply enough pressure.
Yeah.
And Kaiser's the plant, and Kaiser at that plant you're talking about is where they figured out how to pretty much just
squeeze them together.
Squeeze them together with high explosives. Yeah.
That's exactly what they do. That is exactly what they do. It's high explosives to force it together rapidly. Because if you just put them in a press, they don't work. Right?
Oh, so it has to be at the speed of an explosion to molecularly bond them together?
Yeah.
No, you can get a higher pressure with an explosion than you can with out of a press.
So that
okay. When you use a press, you have to apply heat.
What do they call it? Shock welding or blast welding?
Friction welding.
Yeah, friction welding.
Friction
or hammer
welding.
Friction welding.
Hey guys, I live an hour from Alcoa, and they are still open, but they run at nowhere near the capacity they did 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, that's the way Kaiser was. When I was a kid, that was the place to get a job because, I mean, they paid really well. But then in the, I would say, early 90s, the Meade plant, which was on the north side of Spokane, that was the big boy. It just shut down. In fact, they have have you ever seen that? It was on oh crap, I can't remember what channel. It wasn't Sci-Fi. Maybe it was. There was a series that was on for like 4 seasons called Z Nation. It was a zombie series.
Yeah.
It was filmed mostly in Spokane, and one of the first episodes, they're running around in this apocalyptic area, and they're running around. They got permission to film at Kaiser, and they're running around in this abandoned aluminum foundry, running all around it. And I'm watching it, and I'm like, that looks like the old Kaiser plant. And then I'd see something else in town. I was like, holy smokes, I know exactly what street that is. You know, it was kind of crazy because they filmed most of the series, or I'd say at least half of the series was filmed in the Spokane area. So it was kind of neat seeing all that old stuff. But yeah, they traipsed all around that abandoned. I mean, this building is, that main plant probably is, I would say, 300 to 400 yards long and probably 75 yards wide, and then and at the peak of the roof it's probably 200 feet. So it's a pretty good sized building, and that was the main building, and there was like 6 or 7 other auxiliary buildings around it.
Yeah.
But I always kind of wanted to go in there when it was actually running and just kind of be interesting to see the manufacturing process of it.
Oh yeah, dude. So, dude, there's, like I said, we had the contract to do all the blasting on the I guess you would refer to it as a vat when they made the aluminum in these big vats. They had the brick line the whole thing, right? And then they would put in their raw materials, put their electrolysis through it, and they could only use it once, right? So they took out like the main part of the brick, but they had to bring it in to get the surface re-blasted, like sandblasted. And the other chunks that kind of like seep through, we had the contract to pull that out too. And they just reuse them then, right? But fuck, dude, like the amount of material that they went through as a company was just ungodly and massive. Like, holy
and I don't know
shit.
what the byproducts are of after you manufacture aluminum, but I can't imagine there's anything really good coming out of it. It's probably not real friendly.
When you manufacture aluminum, you take the bauxite ore and you put it in it's this acidic electrolyte. I can't remember the name of it.
No, me neither.
But it's an acid. But it's also an electrolyte. And then you just run a fucking shitload of electricity through it, and the aluminum is extracted from the ore with electrolysis.
Yep.
Nice.
It's dude, and it's kind of funny because apparently the old wives' tale, and you know, it's probably not. It's most likely a very legit thing. They said that if you go up to one of those vats when it's running and throw in a bottle of fucking water, a plastic bottle of water, you're gonna fucking see an explosion that's gonna wipe out that fucking building. And I was like, well, I guess I could see that. You know what I mean? Like, you're talking fucking chemicals and temperatures that are fucking like really high up there, and you're passing a shitload of electricity to it. I could see that once that water turned to steam and then broke down to hydrogen and oxygen, like the aftermath would be fucking massive, right? Because all that's going to instantly convert, it's going to break apart, right, into steam, expand, give you that explosion, and then as soon as it hits the fire, once it's expanded, it's going to convert back to water right away and explode that way. So big.
And you're blowing fucking acid all over the place.
Then you got that on top of it, and I don't know what type of acids they use, like you were saying there, Brandon, but I can't imagine. I haven't met many acids that weren't volatile in some way or shape or form.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people don't realize just how volatile, hydrogen peroxide can be. Now, what we get for hydrogen peroxide is very dilute. It's 2%, right?
Yeah, ask all the dead sailors at the bottom of the ocean when the Minsk blew up, how hydrogen peroxide, how it works.
Yeah, so, I mean, when you get when you get up to 70%, this shit starts to burn in open air. You know what I mean? And you mix it with acetone, and you got
the Bell X-1. Remember the Bell X-1 rocket plane?
Yeah,
it ran on hydrogen peroxide and alcohol.
Yeah,
that was the one they launched from underneath a B-52, wasn't it?
It was a B-24, but yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and
that was Chuck Yeager.
The reaction between hydrogen peroxide of 70% or plus, right? Which generally you don't even want 70% sitting around because the wrong mixture in the air and it'll fucking explode. But 70% was what they used for like rocket fuel. You know, they combined it with acetone, right? And you don't need an ignition. That stuff just ignites on its own.
Hyperglolic.
And when it fucking goes up, dude, it's a fucking crazy sight. And the worst part is if you can't control that right down to the fucking second, it'll run away on you. It splashes on your face or something. It fucking burns, man.
Well, if you watch the rockets ignite these days, even if they're hydrogen rockets, you'll see a little green flame at first.
Right.
That's what that is.
They use a wet chemical as an ignition.
Yeah.
Even our space rockets, still to this day, their boosters are solid rockets. They're still the same.
Some of them depends on the platform.
No, all the boosters are still done in solid rockets. They're still using the same formula.
Some spaceships don't use boosters. Is what my point is.
I don't know of any that don't use boosters, except maybe
all the SpaceX ships that don't have boosters.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Maybe the SpaceX stuff doesn't. But yeah, the big ones on the outside of our NASA's fucking rockets, those are all solid propellant fucking boosters still.
Now, here's the fucking cool part. You know about the Soyuz rockets, right?
George Soyuz?
You've heard of Soyuz rockets.
No.
Guess what they use to light their rockets?
A ladyfinger.
No, they
So-
use they use actual giant fucking matches.
Really?
Yeah,
Nice.
but these
Sap that has to
matches are
go
like
right.
10 feet tall.
Holy
Well,
shit.
like even go back to the V2 era, right? When we were first getting into liquid propellant rockets, they still used a solid material as a medium to burn. It wasn't just straight up oxygen all the time. You know
The
what I mean? Like
V2 was a liquid rocket.
liquid oxygen, but it had a core that was a solid material meant to burn away to help with the extra boost. It basically extended the life of the rocket because you can burn a little oxygen in this solid material, right? Which gave you a bigger burst of an actual flame in this fucking tube. So they extended the life of how much oxygen they had to carry on board. That's why they started using the mixture. It wasn't all like a nitrocellulose blend. I believe it was. Actually, I can't even remember what it was. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't remember what fuels they used in the V2.
Well,
But I don't the combustion chamber in there. I don't think that they could have solids in there. There's no way.
no, in the combustion chamber of the tube.
Because in the combustion,
solid,
it's a round. Yeah. It's like this dome, and then you have the De La Belle nozzle down below it.
Yeah.
There's no place to have a solid rocket in there.
It might have been up in the shaft above. Yeah, it could have been.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you look up the,
I do know that the V1, the buzz bomb, that they used a solid rocket to shoot it off of a rail to get it up to speed where it can use that pulse jet.
Yeah, I've seen that one. Where they're using that long fucking ramp.
Right, but the V2 launched vertically, and it was completely liquid fuel, as far as I know. Now, I'm just a fucking nerd on this kind of shit, so I don't know about the specifics, but I do know how to build rocket engines, and there's no way you could have a solid, maybe they had a. Because you don't want a turbulent flow inside of a liquid rocket ignition. You don't want turbulent flow.
No, that's why they use the Bates grain system, right?
And it's not a tube; it's a sphere.
That's for the liquid fuel, not in the liquid fuel. Where the liquid fuel would pass down through the cylinder. Right after, not in the top chamber where it's held, but where it gets shot into, right? Just like the, I guess the muffler front exhaust of our actual engines right now.
Hey, Riggs.
There was a solid core there that actually burned away. It didn't burn away fast; it burned slow. But you could choke back your liquid fuel. Because this stuff would help, you know what I mean? It's a hybrid. The hybrid engines are still used to this day.
Yeah, there are. SpaceX uses a hydrogen, not SpaceX, but Virgin Galactic uses a hybrid engine.
Yeah, so that's what they're using then they're still using a solid core, but they're passing a gas through it to burn.
Yeah, in the Virgin Galactic when they're using nitrous oxide. Now, I'm going to have to look up on V2. You got me thinking. So I'm not going to call bullshit yet, but I'm close to it.
Well, look it up because I remember that was the exact same time that what's his name? Werner von Braun came up with the way
turbo pump.
No, he came up with the way to correct the flow so it was more stable because they were having stability problems from takeoff, and he came up with those fins that tilted between, like they actually sat between the jet and the flame came around it, and that was what they used to correct the fucking pitch so that they were stable when they took off.
Well, that's not how they corrected the stability on the V1 on the V2. They gimbaled the exhaust output, the nozzle.
I didn't think that's what they started with.
They might not have started with it, but
I know a
see,
bunch of
you're
old
trying
ones
to describe the vertical pendulum problem, and it's a tough one. It was a tough one to solve.
Yeah, probably. I'd have to look up that documentary again. But like I said, I know that it was the fins that they put between them. I'm not sure what you refer to as the gimbal.
You know how the nozzles will move? That movement is done by a gimbaling mechanism, and by directing the nozzle in different directions, you're able to balance your rocket.
Okay, so maybe this was the earlier version, but instead of having the whole thing tip, they had fins that sat in between the tip to direct flow.
Now I remember seeing a show about that, but I can't remember what they were called.
Fuck.
They used it because they were getting too much turbulence off of each individual nozzle. They were getting too much turbulence in there, and then they were blowing things up, I believe, weren't they, Chris?
Well,
yeah,
I know the ones I watched, they fucking ended up like tipping sideways and fucking going all over the place. Like they had a lot of failures.
Take off.
Hey,
and then
they would take off, and then fucking all of a sudden, you know, it's coming back down to earth straight at the fucking place it just took off.
Yeah. I remember seeing a show about that, and I remember them showing those plates that they put in between.
They put plates in the combustion chamber so that you have these combustion zones. So that you don't have you don't have combustion all of it
fighting each other like different.
Right, you have combustion zones inside your combustion chamber.
Yeah, so they're not trying to take over each other; they're just exploding in their own area.
Yeah, well, where they have the initial explosion.
Yeah.
In that.
Could be that we're talking about the same two different things. You know what I mean? Like I said, the ones that I seen, you could visibly see them outside the jet. Like they were just on the back side of the jet, the actual jet stream itself, outside the entire body of the rocket altogether.
Yeah, that's been done with jet engines too.
Yeah.
It's done with props all the time.
Don't they use a new system now though, where their cone is fixed and it flows around to make a channel?
Well, you're talking about the Bernoulli effect there, not the Bernoulli effect, but the Coanda effect, and that is okay for short durations.
Mm-hmm.
But they found that the geometric shape that's inside of the flame of the rocket has a tendency to just melt away.
Oh, it could be as well.
And that's the reason that what you're describing for a long duration burn like the V2 had wouldn't work. Especially with the materials they had in World War II. Another holy grail in rockets is the aerospike engine.
Mm-hmm. Well, just the additives to solid fuels, like the additive of aluminum powder in 20% increment to natural or normal rocket fuel. Like solid propellant increased its efficiency by like, what was it, 79%?
I don't know the percentages, but you get your gases hotter, they expand more, and you're basically putting, you're making your fucking solid booster into a thermite bomb.
And it was so simple, yet it's one of those what do they call it or refer to it as a $1,000 solution to $1 million question.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean they still use that formula to this fucking day. Like when they roll out, you know, the Bates grain pucks as we call them, right? Which are done in sections and just stacked on each other with still a round cavity in the middle for the jet stream to go through. You'll notice.
Hop on for a second.
But yeah, you'll notice that they're fucking like jet black. You know what I mean? A lot of that is from the aluminum powder.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, but when I started adding it to mine, even my home rockets were like fucking way more efficient. I had to back down on the potassium nitrate that I was mixing in there, right? Because that was the most expensive component, right? And a little bit of aluminum powder fucking just did the trick, so I could back it all down.
Yeah. One of the things we're talking about, back to the schools thing, we used to make our own rocket fuel in chemistry class.
Yeah. And
you could, rocket fuel, if you don't give it anywhere to go, makes a very nice firecracker.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, when I was on with Billy there a couple of months ago, like I said, man, in my area, that was normal for people to have chemistry sets. You know what I mean?
We made our own M80s and flushed them in the toilet.
Yeah, that might be a bit much. It could be a bit extreme for somebody like me, being the peace-loving person I am.
We had to buy our M80s at the Native American reservation for $1 a piece.
Well, that's not bad.
Well, if you flush an M80, you can get shit to fly out of, because we had the boys' bathroom and the girls' bathroom were all right next to each other, but they shared common plumbing underneath. And if you flushed your M80, when it blew up, fucking turd water would come out of every,
It was a bidet.
Yeah.
Oh man, I got in so much fucking trouble for that.
Yeah, we used to throw them in mailboxes.
I'm going to drop out, but I'm going to stay in the chat. It's an honor to be on your first stream, sir. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much. We got to talk Sir Yeetus into coming on and telling me to fuck off. I give him enough shit on his. I remember one time, the first time I called into his show, I pretended I was his son.
Mini Yeetus?
Oh, God.
This was back when I was still living in Ukraine. I called him up and I go, Daddy!
Later, guys.
Later.
Have a good day. Later, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been on one of these streams before, but I haven't actually managed to catch one in a while.
They can be entertaining sometimes, especially when they start fighting each other.
Dude, look at the fucking material we've got in a short time on mine. We got the butthole fucking advertisement, for his OnlyFans or only holes. Yeah, you get fucking trying to get you cavity search, but fucker wouldn't go for it. Which I thought was rude. I mean, what am I paying taxes for?
Well, you're Canadian.
Well, I'm still paying taxes. No, I'm not, but it is what it is. We like to say.
Yeah, and Sir Yeetus had a good short today. There's this lady, she's going like, well, the man, he works to pay the woman's bills. And this guy's like, no, I don't.
Yeah, that's what they're told to believe, though. I mean,
yeah.
Who's proving them wrong? Anybody?
MGTOW.
Yeah, MGTOW, but that's just it. Sorry, what were you going to say, buddy?
No,
hey, we had MGTOW values, too.
No, I was just agreeing with him.
So,
yeah.
Well, it's been about 2.5 hours. We are way off topic.
I know.
And we all agree that there is way too much that doesn't make sense about the shooting yesterday. And I'm glad you guys brought up the other shootings that have been happening recently about how there's some stuff that just doesn't make sense in there as well.
Yeah. Well, I know Pops covered the Las Vegas one pretty fucking thoroughly, and
yeah,
not that I am a fucking former military anything, but I can clearly hear that there's more going on than what they're saying. You know what I mean? Like he stated about talking guns and stuff. I was like, yeah, you're right. It does sound like there's multiple types of firearms, multiple calibers going off at once.
Yeah.
So, very fishy.
Well, I can tell you there used to be a lot of information on Sandy Hook where people were exposing that before it all got took off the internet.
Yeah, so, and there's another thing. Why would you remove it?
Good question.
That is a good question. Maybe the censorship train is already on the fucking loose.
There was even a high school principal that was exposing a lot of it, and I haven't heard anything from him since then.
Yeah.
What's that guy's name? Wolfcastle something? Wolfgang or something? I have to look him up.
It's a fucking absolute fucking crime against humanity, and you know what? I don't know why these young men fucking, where they get the ideas or what makes them want to lash out at the most innocent people, whether it's just attention or what, but there's better ways, guys. There's better ways. Way better.
And there really is only one correlation between all these shooters. Is they didn't have a dad in the house when they were growing up.
Yeah. Other than Columbine, I believe.
Yeah, the school shooters, that's true.
Yeah. And that one was so long ago. We haven't seen one like that though. Like this was it almost seems like this latest one really wasn't planned out that thoroughly. You know what I mean? Like, like you said, he drove 4 hours away or something. And so, I mean, there was obviously some planning to it. But it was more or less like he was just fucking given a green light to go and fucking went. And like you said, how'd they get into the fucking school in the first place?
Why was he having a shootout with Border Patrol?
Why was he?
Why did he shoot his grandmother?
Yeah. Why did it start there? You know, if he was being watched, why were these red flags let the fucking slide again? Just like the guy who shot up the subway or whatever.
From all reports, he wasn't being watched. He said he had no previous run-ins with the law and no mental health issues.
Okay, well, I mean, that can go, like I said, okay, he wasn't being watched, you know, he gave no fucking signs. Who becomes legal one day and just decides to shoot up the school? When was his birthday? 18th birthday when he got, or became legal by the...
It wasn't too long ago.
Yeah, because he's still 18, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's only had these firearms for a couple weeks. If the fucking report that I read was right.
Yeah, it's the same report I'm reading.
I imagine, yeah. So, what, you become of legal age, get a firearm, and then decide to go shoot up a bunch of kids?
It doesn't make any sense.
Don't. And I mean, yes, we do have lots of fucking random acts of violence from lots of places. Generally, they don't start at mass shootings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and why they choose to do the mass shooting when apparently it's really just a suicide?
Yeah. And the target.
Now, what do these little kids have to do with any of that stuff?
Good question.
I can, on a certain level, see going and wanting to shoot the teachers because there's some type of an authority figure and maybe you had a bad time at school or something like that. But the little kids, What the little kids do? They didn't do nothing. You know?
Yeah, not a lot of sense at all, man. You know,
Even the ones that go to the high schools and pick on their bullies, once they get the bullies, they keep killing.
Yeah. And I mean, I could see fucking having a list. Like you're saying about the bullies. I mean, I can see you having a list that can be fucking fairly extensive. I mean, I just don't see where it's like 6-year-old kids are on this fucking list.
Yeah.
Like, are you telling me that a 6-year-old kid fucking bullied you to the point where you shot up his whole class? Really?
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. Welcome, MGTOW Values, the golden voice from the Far East.
Well, thank you very much, Brandon Trubun. It's great to be on your first stream. This is a wonderful occasion. Congratulations to all men. And here, I don't think I know you. MGTOW Values.
Hello.
What's up, man?
Well, I'm listening to this great conversation, and I discussed this briefly with Traversable MGTOW, and he came up with this thing that was out there called intermittent explosive disorder. You can look it up, and people just snap. We know that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at it, and you're looking for a reason. You're saying you might want to kill the teachers, but why the students? That's a great question. And intermittent explosive disorder is not rational. It's just you're under stress and you're not going to react normally. And I think what they're doing overall, it's not every young man without a father that's going to explode, but enough of them are. And so it's, I've got animals now. I'm starting to herd animals, and I've been told that they get under stress and they don't react normally. So, this is the thing. You put young men under enough stress, enough of them are just going to snap. They're going to go into the lizard brain. They're going to do fight or flight, and they're going to choose to fight, and it's going to make no sense to them or anyone else. This is a bad situation. That's what I got.
And I could understand that, but when you're talking about as many school shooters as we've seen, it doesn't happen like, well, I mean, it happens in churches and fucking restaurants and what do you call it, grocery stores and everything too. But there seems to be like almost a fucking a train being run on like primary schools, elementary schools. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that seems to be like one of the primary places they like to pick, and it's like, why? I know this is going to get the biggest uproar, obviously, because you're killing little kids.
Yeah.
And again, like I just like let's say I decide to snap and go postal right now.
Yeah.
The last people I'm going for is kids. I got a list, and I'm going to work my way down that fucking list. Right?
Going postal, another thing.
Postal. Yeah.
Yeah, there we are. And one thing that may explain it, but I don't know if it would or needs to, but I'm assuming you're an older guy. This guy's closest reference is school, and then before that, elementary school. So maybe he's going back to the point at which it started to malfunction in his life.
And it could be something as simple as that.
Yeah.
And we had some people on earlier today saying that he was part of the alphabet community.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. And then
I don't know if that's true, but
I don't
people
think
are saying it.
However, looking at what Bill Maher, and others have been putting up there, the data seems to indicate 20%, which is like 1 out of 5. 1 out of 5 young people today is gender-wise screwed up.
Yeah.
They don't know. So it's almost becoming the norm,
Well, but that's because it's indoctrinated to them at every fucking step of the way.
Every fucking
They're-
turn of the way.
They're not fucking, not this many people are growing up with any kind of gender dysphoria. They are being indoctrinated to believe that they have a gender dysphoria, and then when they realize that, hey, maybe I don't, and I don't know what to do with myself now, they fucking snap, and that's why their suicide rate is so fucking high, right? As I've mentioned a podcast, Disaffected, right? I've run a couple of their videos and I've mentioned them lots because he puts on a lot of good upfront information that is honest. And he's gay and he's a victim of sexual assault as a child, right? Which he believed was a kind of one-to-one correlation there as well. You know, like it fucked him up to the point where, you know, he now has a skewed view on his sexuality. He doesn't believe that, you know, being a homosexual was a natural thing for him, right? And he's
But
not.
we have somebody joining us now who has no question about his own sexuality. Welcome, One Fast Dak.
Hey guys, I had to come on, and I just had to come on and say hi to our very famous brother MGTOW Values. How are you, sir?
Well, I don't know that I'm not famous. I've just been around a long time, caused some trouble, I suppose. But you know, this discussion is concerned about the boys. The boys are being given this information, this indoctrination, and it's screwing them up.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's an event, a sexual assault or something, and then they're convinced of something that it's actually important. And I'm wanting to go back to the 1800s when it wasn't important. Okay, it happened to you, so forget about it. Somebody broke your nose, so forget about it. Somebody sexually assaulted it, forget about it. That's not important. What's important is you moving ahead as a man and just living a good life. So I think we're prioritizing unimportant things ultimately.
Oh, we're trying to play victim with everything and everybody.
Yeah. No, casualty I'll give you. Casualty, you know, okay, you can be wounded, you can be hurt, you can lose a limb or something. Okay, you're wounded, whatever, but you're not a victim unless you choose to be. So, you know.
Well, I mean, my niece was sexually assaulted and she went to the therapist for a long time. And he basically plain out had to tell her at one point, he's like, look, you can live through life being a victim, or you can live through your life and be a survivor. It's your choice. Right now, I don't think we even fucking dropped that fucking idea.
Yeah.
The victimhood is literally the new go-to card. People, especially young women,
cash and prizes.
Yeah, especially with young women. I mean, they fucking play victimhood on everything. They fuck up and they're a victim.
Yeah.
Like, where does fucking logic come in there? Oh, it doesn't. I'm a victim. I don't need logic.
You know, on another level, you know, you can move from victim to survivor. But why don't you just skip that whole survivor thing and go to thriver? You know, something happened in the past that was bad. You know, we know today there's war, not only in Europe but other places. People got a bomb dropped on their village, and okay, you get over it. You get over it. You have to get over it.
Yes, but who did you hear about from Ukraine? The transgenders can't leave.
Yeah, that was so funny.
What?
Yeah, dude, they were on. What? They have had transgender people who are trying to flee Ukraine on the fucking news just as much, if not more, than actual people living in cities that are fucking being bombed out or being fucking systematically slaughtered or indiscriminately slaughtered. Like, they have had these trannies on there more often.
You know,
sorry, trannies and OnlyFans of Russia, because they cut off the OnlyFans to Russia.
Yeah, that's good. They're not. You're not a fucking girl. Grab a gun, motherfucker.
Yeah. But they have had those people on there more often, fucking allowing their story to come through, right? Than they have actual fucking victims that are living in it. They're not trying to run or get across a very secure area by the border. They're not hanging out by the border. They're literally fucking still in their towns. You know what I mean? These towns were fucking, yeah, there are rockets fucking flying overhead and shit like that. You know, people being shot in the fucking street, buildings being blown up. But yet, let's worry about the fucking trannies and the fucking,
and the other thing they're talking about is
girls.
they have these refugee trains full of women and children, and they had a bunch of Africans trying to get on the train to get out, and they wouldn't let them on because they were all men.
Of course.
And they're saying, "Oh, the Ukrainians are so racist." It's like, no, we're trying to save our people. Shut the fuck up.
Was the Ukrainian president dancing around in girls' clothes or something?
Yeah, he's a fucking piece of work.
He's a piece of work. I think the country's gone woke, I guess, eh?
But there's in Slavic culture, there is a big history of the clowns, which is what Zelensky is. You know, he's an entertainer of female impersonation. And to this day on Ukrainian TV, or at least back as far as December, you'll see guys dressed up as women, you know, making fun of the traditional Ukrainian women or making fun of modern Ukrainian women. You know, it's part of their culture.
Making fun of the babushkas?
Yeah.
My God. That's criminal. My mother's Ukrainian, full, 100%.
Oh, it's fucked up.
Yakubabushka.
Fucked up world we live in, gentlemen.
Yeah,
it ain't getting no goddamn better.
My favorite relative that I still have from Ukraine is my second wife's mother. She was a gynecologist.
Wow. Wow.
And but she taught me how to make vodka.
Ooh.
And she sends me pickles every month.
Nice. Those are damn good pickles too, eh?
Oh, they're fucking great pickles.
I know. Yes, I get the full Ukrainian what do you call it? Meals all the time.
Yeah.
It's probably why I weigh 300 pounds.
No, and you guys ain't sharing with nobody, so use a bunch of really big hypocrites and bigots.
Oh, Ukrainian food is awesome. It's not very spicy. It's not very spicy, but it's awesome.
Yeah.
Like I said, if I wouldn't know, I don't get any. Because you guys are eating it all.
Yeah. Yeah, geez, sorry, Brandon. I thought your stream was earlier. Thanks for the invite. That was awesome. I thought it was earlier, so I went fishing. That's why I said I'm going fishing today. I thought you were doing it earlier, not later.
I don't know if I wrote the time to you.
No, you didn't. So if you would have told me the time, I would have given you a definite, yeah, I'll be there kind of thing. So, but when I got home from fishing, I saw, you were coming on, and I'm like, okay, right on. So I had to clean.
And we've been going for almost 3 hours now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I couldn't jump on right away. I had to go to the neighbors. We had to clean the fish and everything. So get them cleaned up and stuff. So try them out tomorrow.
Yeah. And they don't have this type of stuff happening in, there's no school shootings in Ukraine.
No. I don't think there's many in Canada, eh, Chris? Have you ever heard of any in Canada?
Well, we've had a couple, but it was like what's it called, tech place.
Yeah, Montreal,
okay.
Guy.
Yeah, that's right too.
Mark somebody or something. Yeah, that was a long time ago. He was an incel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the only other one before that was like fucking back in the 60s, dude. The one they still have that goddamn, celebration for women because, there was only 11 men shot, not fucking 16.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, 11 men and 16 women or something, or 19 women. Not that any of them are are acceptable, but you know what I mean? Like they dedicated the entire thing to the women that were shot. It's like, okay, what about the rest of the people? Oh, fuck them. Fuck them in their asses.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things to do. I like the looks on their faces.
When you fuck them in their asses?
Yeah.
You're sick.
But anyways, I'm a monk now, so that doesn't happen very often anymore.
No. Same here. At all.
Can't say.
Not unless you're MGTOW cowboy. Then you get it quite often, I guess. He likes to pick them up.
Hey, man, we're not all monks.
No.
You're
That's all
playing
good.
with fire if you do it with a non-professional.
What's that?
You're playing with fire. You know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. If you do it with a non-professional.
One of these days, you know, they pick them up. The Chads, whatever it is. They get angry. They see the wall. They need some drama.
Yeah. False accusations coming down the line. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And they do it without a fucking hesitation, man. And it's like,
that's what put me in jail for 4 months.
Yep. And they have no fucking consequences at the end.
Nope.
And we all know it.
Just think, of all the victimhood currency, you gave them one fast act. You gave them 10 years worth of victim currency for your 4 months. My God.
Yeah.
It's a sick world.
Yeah, exactly. And even when they're proving that they're lying, you know, in other cases, not mine, proving that they're lying, you know, there's no repercussions, none at all. Like guys have lost, you know, you've seen YouTube videos, right? Guys have lost 10 years of their life. Endless stories.
Or more.
Yeah, or more. You know, and then they get out, finally they get cleared because of DNA or something or whatever. And
or she finally admits it.
Or she admits it, exactly. She finally admits it. Like what happened to that? There's a couple black gentlemen. I forget their names now. But yeah, there was no repercussions at all. None. Zilch. Just, okay, thanks for telling the truth. See ya.
Yeah, see you later. Don't worry. You have to make an apology.
Yeah.
Yada, yada. Oh, I'm so sorry. Shed some tears. You know, that's not hard. Easy peasy. And that's all is expected. It's pretty fucking sad if you ask me.
Yeah, definitely.
Pretty fucking sad.
Yeet, Sir Yeetus, come on for just a minute. I'm going to be shutting the stream down here in about 10 minutes or so, and I want to hear you.
Yeah, definitely. I want to ask you a quick question.
Come on, get on, Yeetus.
If you could, a quick question about your our live stream reminders not showing up on our in our what was it again, Chris? Yeah, on our pages on
your page,
on my page. Because mine, the stream I did last night, Chris, it didn't come on my page till later today. Like it took
same with mine. I mean,
okay.
It was in my studio and stuff when I looked there.
Yeah, same here. Do you age restrict yours or MGTOW values? Do you age restrict yours at all or anything?
I don't.
No, I don't think I do.
Mine.
You can't get on. Ask your question, Dak.
Why are you so racist?
No, well, just sorry. My question is, when I was putting out StreamYard reminders, they weren't showing up on my channel at all. Like I put out the StreamYard reminder, you know, and it would always show up on my channel, like, I don't know, 2 minutes after I put out the reminder, but now they're not showing up on my channel at all. And I talked to Manic, and I thought he said that you were having that issue too. So my question to you is, are you having that issue as well? So I'd like to find out. But Chris, do you age restrict yours?
No, I just set it so that it says that it's not for children. But I don't actually age restriction.
Okay.
Yeah, that's restriction. Yeah, okay. I generally check, but the last week I didn't check, so I'll check again to see whether it comes up as a.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. He says I did before, but right now, no. Okay. So maybe they're just picking on me for a while. You have the right profile connected, right? What do you mean, right profile connected?
Not the evil Dak. Not your
No.
evil Derek.
No, it's on One Fast Jack channel. Well, we'll see. We'll give it some time. See what happens.
Hold it. Are you on a strike? You have a strike?
Me? No.
Oh, no. Okay. I was thinking maybe you don't get the notice.
Yeah.
Notification sent out if you're on a strike.
Yeah. No. And so you just.
I think I still did.
Yeah, he just said a lot of people have been having issues with StreamYards lately. So yeah, it's just probably just a time thing, guys. I just think I'm worried for nothing. So we'll just give it time, see what happens.
Oh, it's good. It's good to be paranoid. If you're paranoid, you succeed.
Yeah, exactly.
So keep your eyes open. Now it's good to know that. Now I'll be more observant about other people's channels as well.
Yeah, because I thought maybe they got mad at me because I wasn't age restricting it, or saying that it's not meant for children, because I haven't been doing that on any of my videos at all. Like, it says you have to legally say if it's good for children or not, and I don't fill any of it out. I've gotten away with it so far, so I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I put mine as not for children, but I think it kind of does make sense that you have to be signed in to go with the age restricted, because I'm not going for monetization. And I guess you can't get monetized if you're age restricted.
Yeah.
Well, you can if you're age restricted.
No, you
can't.
Oh, okay.
But hell, I don't even have 100 followers, so or 100 subs. So I don't.
It's the weirdest thing, but we could age restrict ours, right? We could say it's not for children, and yet if we say the wrong thing or link the wrong thing, we're done. But nude yoga can get away with it.
Yeah, nude yoga and Brazilian waxing.
Yeah. No, I can see the Brazilian waxing one even. It's educational. There's no reason you got to do fucking yoga in the nude.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome, Sir Edis. I saw you finally got monetized. Congratulations. I was trying I was trying to get that too, but they refused me. First they sent me an email and said, "Hey, we see you're not monetized. Come on, fill it out. Here you go, fill it out." 2 days later, they smoked me. They're like, "Yeah, no, you're not getting monetized." So
you hater.
How the fuck did Yeetus get monetized?
Well, he's been trying for a while, I think. If I'm not mistaken.
He just can't be monetized with his content. No way.
Yeah, Yeetus is monetized now.
Yeah, he got it. Yeah, he did. He got it, man. He got her somehow. I don't know, but he did.
Fuck this shit. I'm out.
Oh, yeah. Maybe he got monetized with one type of content, and once he got monetized, he switched.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, he said he had to get rid of all of his MGTOW stuff.
Oh, really?
But he still puts out MGTOW videos. It's just he doesn't call it MGTOW anymore.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's my problem. Yeah, my problem is every one of my videos, I when I put the title in, I put MGTOW first. So yeah, I'm screwed. That's okay. Whatever.
Oh no, that's the way it should be. You're not. MGTOW is not for money. MGTOW is for.
No, you're right.
Whatever we can do to help men help themselves. So.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. I just wanted to make a couple bucks, or try to anyway. But now that I know I'm not going to, I'm not disappointed at all. Whatever. Got to be worth a try, but.
Well, thank you guys all for showing up tonight.
Yeah, thanks, brother.
I don't know how often I'm going to stream, but it's really been great to have you all come in.
No worries, buddy.
Well, it's good to see you.
Definitely.
And I really appreciate it. Especially a lot of you are pretty big on here, and I'm just nobody.
Yeah.
And this is awesome. Yeah, I'm just some fucking idiot that's living out in the woods, putting out a video or two a week, if that many. And this is great to have everybody show up.
No problem, man.
I like participating in each and every one of you guys' programs, and I'm really honored that you came in tonight.
Yeah, definitely, man. We support each other, man.
We all started out with 0 subs.
Yep. We all started out with 0 subs.
And if you make it up or you don't, it doesn't really matter. That's not a determinant of how good the content is, how smart you are, how good of a man you are. That's not a determinant.
Yeah, he's exactly right. Just like Hammerhand said, if you're doing it for the subs, you're doing it for the wrong reason.
Right, exactly.
So,
and I've completely changed my life because of of MGTOW. You know, a lot of that had to do with Hammerhand, but you know, listen to guys like you know, UDAC and Values and Tumbleweed, Whiskey Stills.
Didn't even mention your emperor. Jesus Christ.
Well, yeah, you didn't really change my life. You're more of a guy I shoot the shit with.
That's life changing.
Too
You know what that is, Brandon? That's your racism coming through.
Yeah,
that is. It's my anti-Canadianism.
Yeah. See, I told you.
Holy shit. We got a majority Canadian on here, do we?
Yeah,
we do.
Myself, Chris Mitchell, there's British Columbia, and you Values.
Well, Values. Are you Canadian anymore, Values, or are you other?
No, I still got a Canadian passport. I still have you know, dealings with Canada pretty regular. I know what's going on, sort of, you know.
Yeah. So you're a native living away.
What's that?
Well, hopefully we get these silly, you know, vaccination rules changed, so that we can actually go back and forth across the border.
Yeah. Value. Chris was wondering, you were from the East, right? Canada. You're from the East.
Yep.
And now you're in Asia.
Southeast Asia.
Southeast Asia. Yeah.
Nice.
He got out of the Matrix, Chris.
I'm out of the Matrix.
He got out, man.
1997.
Yeah. Well, Chris, you've been on MGTOW Value streams on Fridays, haven't you? Or you haven't caught one yet?
I've been on a couple of his streams, but I mean, I wasn't actually in the stream.
Yeah.
Well, no, but in the chat.
Yeah, in the chat, but you know, it doesn't come up all the time where I am or who I am or what I am.
They really hit MV pretty hard.
Yeah.
Unless you know what time he's going to stream, you'll miss it.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
Well, if you're not showing up, you're one of my. I'm sub to you, and it doesn't show up with you coming live. But I know what time you usually show up.
Yeah,
that's it.
But yeah, seriously, guys, if you want to do yourself a favor in the chat, sub to MGTOW Values and go back and look at his older stuff, man. Like when he did videos and stuff, that's great stuff. Really great stuff.
I did videos for a long time, and
great stuff.
Doing hangouts and.
Yeah. So guys, if you have a chance, go back on his channel, go back a few years and watch some of his videos. They're really good.
I had to take a whole bunch of videos down, so
I know.
Videos I took down.
Yeah, but there's still some good ones up there. I watch them all the time.
Yeah. But the thing is, keep your head under the radar.
Yeah.
Go under the radar. You pop up, they slice it off.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly right,
Don't just believe that for a second.
Yeah.
Not for a second, homie.
Definitely.
Like I said, we've known so many channels that have been fucking completely nuked. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
And the first channel I called into was Sir Yeetus.
Yeah. Okay, so Sir Yeetus is having a serious stream on Saturday. He says it's going to be with TFM right on. Cool. We'll be there.
Awesome. Because my first call in was I called up Yeetus and I told him I was his son. He's like, Daddy.
Right on.
That didn't creep him out at all, I'm sure.
Yeah. And I know that everybody in the chat knows to check out Sir Yeetus' live streams too. So that's without mention.
So does anybody got anything to say before I shut her down?
No, I'll just drop right now. I'll say thanks, Brandon. Thanks for having me, man.
Thank you, Dak. I really appreciate you coming.
Yeah. All right. Good night, gentlemen. Yeah. Take care, gentlemen.
Good night, Dak.
Good night.
Congratulations, Mr. Brandon. Welcome to the club. And I hope to have many more conversations with you.
I appreciate you guys. I really do.
Same to you, sir.
Good night, fellas. And
Thanks a lot, Brandon.
Mary. And especially D-Man, my first sub.
Yeah, our Fuck, he's pretty much most of ours first. So
Yeah. D-Man, you're awesome.
Thanks a lot,
Bye,
guys. You're
everybody.
all awesome.
night, brothers.